That's not how the Force works.
I don't care!
Dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. Dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. Dirty dog.
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Oh, and g'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage 198, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. There's been a little bit of news. There's been a little bit of Star Wars stuff. It's so funny to see how Star Wars is actually being talked about right now. That's been really interesting. It's really good to see the Gatekeepers Alliance. I feel like it's like a really good time for that to form. It's kind of interesting, like seeing how Star Wars is going, seeing how the ratings are for especially Skeleton Crew at the moment, which we're going to go over a little bit of. But man, like, it's been really interesting to see. We're not just talking about Star Wars today, actually, too. I know it's all Star Wars stuff pretty much in the title. But we are going to talk a little bit about some Marvel stuff. We're also going to talk a little bit about Sonic and Mufasa, to be honest with you. And there's a trailer that I saw that I thought was interesting that I thought we could watch together. I'll probably get copyrighted on it because it's not Disney. It's funny. I hate Disney so much, but Disney is like the one that doesn't copyright like anything. Anything. Even my last two reviews. I don't know if you guys have noticed. In my last two Skeleton Crew reviews, both times I uploaded it, I thought I was going to get hit because I intentionally clipped out like more so that hopefully you guys could get a little bit more context to what I'm actually reacting to. And previously when I've done that, I've been hit. Yeah, more recently it's been really good. I hope you're all doing well. We're going to go through the chat and say hello and see who's here. We've got Valley Law. Damn it. I'm early. Yeah, you were really early. And you wonder what Charles is doing? Well, that's Eric down there. I honestly don't know where Charles is. You know what happens on these hot days? Like my bedroom, like I keep the blinds closed and everything. So like it's pretty much the coolest room in the house because it's downstairs. And like he's just in there all the time. It's been pretty hot. It's only 29 degrees today, considering we had a couple of like close to 40, if not 40-degree days. And for all you in America, that's like 100 and I can't even remember the equation. But it's high. It's hot. And it's like surprisingly, even though it's only 29 degrees today, it feels hotter than that. It actually does. Look at this. This t-shirt I draped, being a man, I didn't put my t-shirt away properly. So I draped it over the back of the couch there, and there's a window right there. And obviously the sun shines directly in through there. And it was only there for like, I think 2 days or something. And look at what it did to it. Like those lines, these bits here, and like the back, nothing. But yeah, the sun changed the color of my clothes. It almost looks like one of those hypercolor t-shirts. Remember in the 90s, you had those hypercolor t-shirts that you used to blow into and it changed the color? They were awesome back in the day. Who else we got here? We got Star Wars Marvel purist Justin. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you. I hope the premiere did well. We're actually going to watch one of Star Wars Marvel purist videos, and I think based on the fact he didn't know that I was going to do this, but based on the fact that I'm saying that now, I think he knows which one I'm talking about. Hell yeah, purist in the chat. Hell yeah. If into the normie stream you go, only a gold mine will you find. I kind of screwed that up. Melissa Lord's here. How you doing, Melissa? Good to see you. We got Fear of Famers in the chat. How you doing? Ryan Gosling's here. Mud Crab's in the chat. I need to go to the shops. Anyone want anything? Coffee, Coke, condoms? No, I'm actually pretty good. I went to the shop before I started the stream, so I made sure that I had everything that I needed. We got Nuisance Bird in the chat. Caw-caw! Hello, Nuisance Bird. We got Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. We got the great Mike Hill. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. Late and Jeremy from the 199. LTD3, thank you. How you doing? Valley Law with the welcome. And then do not come. I'm going to come. GT's in the chat. How you doing, GT Weber? We got the great OG Star Wars, Alora. Smash that like button. Yes, please do smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. You know all the drill. Do it all. It's free. You can always get notifications, especially ring that bell. That bell is very important, I must admit. For a channel like mine, maybe not so much, because there's a lot of channels out there that still put their streams like on, what's it called? Delist them, like unlist them. But if you've got the link to it, you can still go and watch it. But yeah, I don't do that. I just make a playlist for it and just put them in there. Pro Jack fan, how you doing? Good to see you. SWA, KOTOR, man, we're going to talk actually a little bit about KOTOR because that's come back up again. Can you believe this? Are we really going through all these announcements again? It's almost like recycled announcements now. Telliam, good to see you. Melissa Lord. It was almost freezing here in Florida today. It's funny that you say, like, man, what's happening over in LA at the moment with the fires? Like, I know there are the memes going around, like Hollywood is burning, the memes coming true, all of that sort of thing. And there is a funny side to that. But in regards to like what's actually happening, it's horrible. And what man, I've been paying attention, and it's just, we're going to make sure that we've got a diverse firefighting team. I see Quinton in the chat. How you doing? Lara A. She's not always here, like live in the chat. So, hi Rhino. As always, I will watch later. She does. Just watched Ryan K's video on Disney. I watched that, and then as soon as, because I woke up this morning, I watched that exact same video, and I went and found something so that we can talk about it. You know, we could almost just watch Ryan's video. It's 4 or 5 minutes long. It'd probably be better than me reading an article, to be honest. We got Blake in the chat. How you doing, Blake? Oh, man. Ultimate Rockman X is here. How you doing? And Debbie. Hello, Debbie. Good to see you, fellow Australian. I think we sort of met through X-Wing. She was watching X-Wing. All right, let's get straight into what we were going to. Basically, there's a couple of things. There's one thing that's sort of Star Wars related, but it's Jake Lloyd again. And we'll get into some of the other shit. Let's just go. So, obviously, there's always been a lot of talk around Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best, I will say. Man, now I've annoyed myself again because I didn't grab my lighter. There's been a lot of talk in the past about Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best, but let's just talk about Jake Lloyd for a second in regards to like the Star Wars fan base bullying him into oblivion sort of thing. That becomes obviously more and more a narrative now because it's the only justifications the Disney shills or the Disney seals out there can actually say to like try and say that we are like a toxic fan base. And that it is all about like us being apparently racist, sexist, misogynistic pigs. But I'm not going through the article because, to be honest with you, it is just him and his mum talking about how the Star Wars fan base has been really kind to them. And, you know, he's had problems in the past. It's basically what we've known before. The thing that I hate is the fact that, you know, he loves current Star Wars. It's fine. There's plenty of people out there that like current Star Wars. I will say it's diminishing though. It really is. But the reason why I'm bringing this up more so is because I don't like now that we've actually sort of heard it from the horse's mouth. I don't want to hear this narrative anymore. I'm so sick of it. I mean, it was always a lie. We all knew it was always a lie. Even the people pushing it knew that it was always a lie. But it's about time they just stopped. Now, they're not going to stop, are they? Because that's just what they do. Man, I look so fucking tired. And I'm not that tired. I'm hot. That's probably what it is. But yeah, so like, let's see. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker? Doubt it. No. Yeah, it was the media. It was the media. And the funny thing is like Ahmed Best specifically has said that it was the media. I can't remember exactly whether or not Jake Lloyd or Jake Lloyd's mom has ever like specifically said that it was the media. Maybe it does say it in this, but like I know that Ahmed Best has actually said that it was the media. And back then it was. This is the thing that this new generation doesn't understand. There used to be a world where the internet did not exist. And it wasn't actually that long ago in the grand scheme of things. But, you know, so the way that these actors and everything got criticized was more so through the media and the mainstream critics and stuff like that than it was actually the fans. Now, yeah, I'm going to say that the character of Jar Jar Binks wasn't the best character. In fact, probably in the Lucas era of Star Wars, probably one of the worst characters. I don't think that there's too many people out there that are going to deny that. But I never went after Ahmed Best. Never went after Jake Lloyd after episode 1. Never. And it's because, like, to do that back then, you would have to sit down and actually, like, write a letter, put it in the post, and send it. Now, yeah, in 99, were we emailing in 99? Or were we still faxing? Faxes, man. Do you remember fucking faxes? So, yeah, look, the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because now there is plenty of evidence out there to say that it was never the Star Wars fan base, it was never this toxic group of fans or anything like that that ever bullied Jake Lloyd or Ahmed Best into oblivion. It wasn't the Star Wars fan base that made Jake Lloyd mentally ill. He was mentally ill before all of that. And the other thing too, I think that it has been said about Jake Lloyd is that he was actually bullied at school. Now, who here wasn't bullied at school? Raise your hands. If you weren't, you were the bully, basically. But he was bullied in school after doing it. And he was probably bullied because he was acting, and his young friends can't perceive the difference really. And they gave him shit for, try spinning. That's a good trick. Now, the thing is that he was directed by George Lucas to say that. But I don't think, yes, try spinning, that's a good trick, has become a meme in the Star Wars fan base, but nobody equates that to Jake Lloyd or gives necessarily Jake Lloyd shit for that. If anyone did give him directly shit for that, it was the mainstream media. I wonder what the Disney shills today, you know how they came out and said, oh, protect the kids, Skeleton Crew, protect the kids, protect the kids. We got to protect the kids. We got to protect the kids from those nasty, toxic fans. I wonder if you slotted them in at this time period when the mainstream was going after this child actor. I wonder what they'd be saying. Well, they wouldn't be saying anything, though, would they? It'd be complete intentional ignorance. Intentional naivety. You know what I mean? Like they know that narrative out there exists, but they refuse to acknowledge it. They refuse to read it. They refuse to say, because then that then makes them wrong for doing what they've done throughout their entire existence. Oh, Justin's caught up. Yeah, we didn't have Twitter at that time. Certainly didn't have Twitter at that time. Did we even have Facebook then? I don't think so. Yeah, 2004. 2004, Facebook. When did Revenge of the Sith come out? It was every 3 years, wasn't it? From 99. 99, 2000, 2001. So what? We got In 2001, we got Attack of the Clones, and then 2, 3, 4. So it was about the same year Revenge of the Sith came out. 2005. There you go. But yeah, so I'm over that. I'm over that narrative of Jake Lloyd. And this is the thing too. If anybody starts using that now as a narrative point, like to try and prove you wrong or to try and put you in your place, I don't know how you combat that now. Do you send them these links to these they're never going to read? You know, do you just say you're wrong? You don't go back and forward with these people because no matter what you say to them, you're wrong. Or do you just completely ignore and then just let them be? The thing that I don't like about that is the fact that you're completely ignoring truth. You're completely ignoring like reality. And that is, I mean, that's a quintessential thing to being a Disney Star Wars fan, isn't it? It's almost a quintessential part of being a part of the left too. Which isn't surprising that although, like, it seems to be, you know, who do you think Sawyerism voted for? Who do you think Molly Damon voted for? Who do you think Alex Damon voted for? Because if he had have voted for the man, for the orange man, Molly probably would have left him and kept the Star Wars Explained channel all to herself. Who do you think Carl Catan, queer, voted for? Huh? All right, I want to talk a little bit about Marvel really quickly. Now, we don't talk a lot about Marvel anymore because I am so, like, turned off Marvel. Like, I just, even with the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom, did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. It's seeing like Fantastic Four and even some of the behind the scenes shots and stuff like that did nothing for me. And it should do something. It should definitely do something. But I think, again, it's just we've gotten to a point now where the fans of these franchises have been burnt so much. And this is where now they're going to start really learning the lesson. Like, especially with Star Wars. When you look at the ratings that Skeleton Crew's gotten, you know, now I do think that there's a slight... We'll get into that because there's an offshoot to that story that I need to cover or talk about. But, you know, it's interesting seeing what they're doing with DC at the moment. You know, what James Gunn is actually doing. And, you know, I must admit what James Gunn did in the Marvel franchise, you know, with Guardians and stuff like that. I thought that stuff was good. But it's interesting seeing what... It's almost like the tide has shifted. And if DC can hit this movie, this Superman movie out of the park, they're going to take over as the number one comic franchise, I feel. And I feel like Marvel knows this. They feel it too. Now, honestly, I don't know what to expect out of the Superman movie. I don't. I really don't. Hey, Sergeant. How you doing? But when I see something like what I'm about to show you, they should have stopped after Infinity War and not Endgame. It's funny because, yeah, like, I'd probably agree with you because the Captain Marvel was just that was a shoehorn movie in between two highly anticipated movies. Probably the two biggest anticipated movies we've seen in all time, actually. But Endgame, when it first, everybody wanted to really like Endgame. People really wanted that really, really good ending. And with the way that there's some really good scenes in Endgame, there's some really good stuff in Endgame. And of course, Tony's sacrifice at the end of Endgame put the emotions into everybody. But now after time and you're actually able to step back and you're sort of more removed from those emotions that you felt watching it, you know, like even the Avengers Assembles moment, like you can't deny, like I can't deny that gave me goosebumps. You know, sitting in the theater, fucking music real loud, like it's pumping and it's like Avengers Assemble, like it was awesome. It was. But looking back on Endgame, there are some major problems and mistakes with that movie. But that's not to say that you couldn't have ended it on Endgame still. And like the time travel thing is where I think where the biggest problem lies. But anyway, moving forward is where they made the mistakes. Moving forward is where they made the mistakes. Because they started to go to DEI and like, you know, the MCU thing was true. It happened. And it's exactly the way that they did it. And the funny thing is that even people that don't agree with the MCU started using the MCU phrase because it's what ended up happening. It's almost like Gary predicted it. I mean, it's not, I will say it's probably not hard to predict that that's where it was going. And then, of course, you had Kevin Feige coming out saying, you know, we're going to have more female superheroes than male superheroes. And it's like, what does that have to do with telling good stories? Telling good comic book stories, telling good superhero stories, giving them good morals, you know, and making them work hard and, you know, giving them some failure so that they can actually like learn from it and build themselves back up and become the hero. Why can't we just have that, Kevin? Why does it need to be this equal men women thing, or you want to now make it so that there's more women? And apparently now, yes, they're making the correction and they're, you know, they're the one franchise that's seen the error of their ways. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. But do you remember the last time somebody on a red carpet begged for a job? Do you remember who that was? The last real one that actually like sticks in your mind. Can you think of a person that begged for a job on a red carpet? Let's see if the chat can get it. Man, it's so hot that I pretty much cracked this can just before I started. So nearly 30 minutes ago. And it is warm as fuck. It's gross. As he takes a swig. Well, the chat's not responding. So, Leslie Headland. Please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy, give me a job. She got the job and she screwed it up. Well, let's take a look. Now, I will say, like, this isn't the first time that an actor has been asked, probably on a red carpet, like what, or even just in an interview, like what role would you want to play? And sometimes it might actually come to fruition and sometimes it might not. Oh, no, that's not what we want to do. We want to share screen. Oh, there's Charles. Look. Can you see him? There he is. Oh man. It's because it's reversed. He's over there. He's gone. He was seeing what Eric was doing and he disappeared. No, he's no fun. Well, let's take a look at this. Flash says, God, no, stay away from Storm. Look at this.
Is there another dream role out there that you want to manifest right here, right now?
I really want to play Storm. I know it sounds frivolous, but I think we haven't uncovered how grand she is and all of that inner turmoil that she has. So I think there's a world in which we could, I don't know, do something like that.
Is there another?
She talks about like the inner turmoil and stuff like that. She's only talking about that because she's a black character. I reckon if you asked her, like, you know, what Storm's motivations, what Storm's you know, personality, where's Storm from, like what nationality is Storm? I don't think that she'd be able to actually answer those questions. Now, this scares me a little bit. It scares me a little bit in the fact that she's saying this, and I don't think that she really knows the character. It makes me wonder whether or not there's already been conversations that have taken place. Is this the variety guy?
Their dream role out there that you want to manifest?
It's not. I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't ask how gayer that would be. Would it be the gayest Storm we've ever seen? That's such a funny question. Is it the gayest Storm we've ever seen? Like, this Storm is fucking gay. Like, this massive Storm. Anyway, it's amazing where my mind goes. Yeah, please God, no. That was my response. Please God, no. I mean, honestly, she does. Oh man, who was it? Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Tom Connors. Thomas, was it you that posted it? Let's see. It was. You can't deny, guys. You cannot deny. That she looks like that. Nice.
Is there another dream role out there that you want to manifest right here, right now?
I really want to play Storm. I know it sounds frivolous.
Like the fingernails and everything, like she scares me. She actually scares me.
But I think we have
lightning coming out of those fingernails. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
haven't uncovered how grand she is and all of that inner turmoil that she has.
How grand she is and how the inner turmoil. Now, this is the other thing that I just wanted to talk about. It's like I said, it's because she's black, right? So the thing is when you've seen the interviews with this woman, right, and you see how she talked about Wicked and stuff like that, it tells you how she perceives reality, right? It's funny. It is her reality, that's for sure. And it's the fact that she would use like Storm as a platform. That's the thing. She wants to use Storm as a platform. And it would not surprise me. Quote me on this. If she gets that job, you are going to see her in junkets, interviews, whatever, acting and talking the same way that she is with Wicked. You know, Storm, she's got a lot of this inner turmoil and she's been suppressed her entire life and she needs to come out and unleash the storm within her. Like that's how it'll get talked. Like it's ugh. King Chris is in the chat. What's up? How you doing, dude? Benzo. Hey, it's been a minute. Pretty much yes. Well, pretty much yes. You didn't see the fingernails? Dude, those things are crazy. Crazy. Yeah, unleash the storm. She's been suppressed her entire life. She's been suppressed by all the white people. And it's about time she unleashed her revenge. And this boiling, what do they call it? She's a bubbling, boiling tempest. And she's about to unleash that power and that storm on every white person. You quote me. If she gets the job, she does the role, she does the interviews, we're going to go back and we're going to clip this part of this stream out and say, see, I fucking told you so. Fucking told you so. But please, please, just don't. Don't do it. We already got a woke Mystique that didn't work. You should audition, Rhino. Just do it like that, right? Do I go in there blackface? Oh, now that's... I'm trying to be comic book accurate. Lazille. Hang on. Let me... Why am I blanking? Oh. Oh. No makeup. To play. Oh, Fear of FEMA. Coming out. Wow. Wow. All right, moving right along. I wanted to just talk a little bit about Sonic and Mufasa. This is an interesting one for me. Sonic and Mufasa. So, Mufasa versus Sonic 3 box office clash analysis. Lion King prequel show global dominance, while the Hedgehog movie leads domestically. This is the thing. We talked about this on Flashcast with this. This is the thing. They are removing Sonic from theaters while Mufasa is getting ramped up more and more. And there's another Disney movie too that's up and coming. I can't remember it. We talked about it again on Flashcast, right? But they're basically removing Sonic from theaters, and Sonic is also getting a digital release. When? It's like, I think it's coming up. It's like if it hasn't happened already, it's like in the next week. Sonic 3 digital release date. Okay, so it's in 11 days. It's the 21st. 12 if you're in America. 11 days. So Sonic, of course Sonic is going to die at the box office when you're removing it from theaters and you're ramping up more and more of Mufasa and you're ramping up more and more of your other one as well. Let's hang on. I should have brought this up before because I want to talk about this a little bit more. Box Office Mojo is probably the best, isn't it? Best way to go. Sonic 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 currently has a worldwide box office of 341 million. Does it say how many theaters it's in? It doesn't. That's a little annoying. All right, now let's check Mufasa. Sorry, guys. I'm not currently reading the chat. So, all right, let's bring this over. All right, that's better. Okay, Soul Assassin. Darth Ghostface, how you doing? New York, Florida man. Sup, everyone? Sup, dude? All right. Oh, and Gabriel Knight, I see you too. How you doing, Gabriel? All right. So Sonic currently has, this is the thing, Sonic was beating Mufasa for ages. It was. And now they're removing theaters and they're going to release this on digital in 11 days. This is the thing too, is the fact that they've even announced that it's coming out on digital in 11 days. How many people are going to go and pay to take their family, let's say, to go and see Sonic for $100, maybe even more, when soon you'll be able to just, you know, they'll probably just have it for rent or buy to begin with, as they always do. They'll make money from it that way, but that won't show up on the box office. And then, of course, Mufasa can then take the lead. Actually, let me have a look at these individual figures. So domestically, Sonic is winning. And globally, or internationally, obviously, and that's what that article was saying. I wonder why that is. Where in the world is Mufasa performing well? France. Oh, hang on. Oh no, that's the highest. What is it in Australia? Is Australia on this list? United Kingdom, France, Germany, United Kingdom, all over 20 million. Oh man, Australia's not even on the list. How crazy is that? There we are. 9 million out of Australia. Now, that's pretty crazy to think. What's it done in China? Only 13. India, only 16. Let's take a look at the Sonic things just really quickly in regards to that. Sorry, this is interesting to me because I got a friend who has a young son who went to both of these movies and nearly almost went to them back to back. And I asked her, I said, you know, which one did he like more? And he loves Sonic. Apparently in Mufasa, he got bored. He got bored. And he's 7 years old. He got bored of Mufasa, but he loves Sonic. You know. Now, I don't know whether or not there's a, like, whether or not, because the thing is with The Lion King, I don't think it's a gendered thing necessarily. And I don't like, you know, bring this up as a thing, but for young boys and young girls, you know, young girls are going to go and see Barbie. You're not going to see a 7, 8, 9-year-old boy wanting to go and see Barbie. Typically, I'll say that. You know what I mean? But Sonic, I know how many 7, 8, 9-year-old girls are going to want to go and see Sonic. I mean, it is fun. I guess it is kind of neutral, but then so is Mufasa. So is The Lion King. I mean, one of my, two of my all-time favorite Disney movies is The Lion King and Aladdin. They're the best, in my eyes, probably the best two Disney animated movies. None of the live-action stuff. That live-action Aladdin pissed me off, in fact. Pissed me off. Jasmine wants to become Sultan. It's so dumb. Anyway, but there, this is just interesting to me Because, like I said, they are removing Sonic. It was performing really well, and it was beating Mufasa. There were those tweets that came out where, you know, whoever it is that owns fucking, well, whoever it is, obviously Disney, are making posts saying it's the number one movie, or whoever's making posts, you know, Mufasa's the number one movie. Mufasa's the number one movie, and it gets corrected saying no, Sonic is still the number one movie. But if we just look at the worldwide figure now, it's not. But there's a reason for that, in my eyes. There's a reason for that. And for me, you know, I've watched the first two Sonic movies. They were enjoyable. I really liked the first one. The second one was good too. But I don't remember it as much. And it's funny because I've watched probably the first Sonic movie maybe only 3 times or something like that. But then, you know, the new, the second Sonic movie, I haven't watched. I think I've only ever watched it once. Sonic is for boys. I think it leans more towards boys. Yes, definitely. But I still think like girls can get enjoyment out of Sonic too. Whereas I don't necessarily see it the other way around with something like Barbie. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Worldwide is not close. No. Scotty Oz, how you doing? Australia cares not for woke lions. No, we really don't. Oh, Debbie's going to see with her grandkids. She's going to see Mufasa tonight. I hope they don't get bored. The thing that I just didn't... Did you guys see the song? Did you guys see the song? My brother. Like, I can sing as good as that part of that. And that's bad. That's really fucking bad. Gabrielle Knight comes through with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Gabrielle Knight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate that. Did you guys see the song? I think Steph shared it. Stephanie, I need your Twitter. My nerdy home. What? All right, I'm just going to search it as Steph then. There she is. All right. She did put, let me just scroll through because I know she posted it. It's cringe to listen to. It's cringe to watch if you haven't seen it. If all Sonic fans gather together, they can summon the Chris of House Chan. Where is it, Steph? Ah, here we go. Here we go. I found it. Now, this is just this little snippet from it. I watched more of this song, and it's just not good.
What did you say about my brother? That's not a stray, that's my brother. What did you say about my brother? That's not a stray, that's my brother.
Oh, and there's more. Like, it's just, to me, it's just cringe. You know, I don't think, and I think I said this on Flashcast as well, I don't think there's one song in the original Lion King that isn't enjoyable. And I'd say probably the same thing about Aladdin too. There's not one song in either of those movies, the animated, the original, that that wasn't good. Melissa Lord for $2. Thank you, Melissa. Says a Goofy movie is still the best Disney movie ever. Well, I haven't watched the Goofy movie or a Goofy movie. I don't think I've seen it. Maybe I did when I was really, really young. How old is that movie, Melissa? Or are you specifically saying like a Goofy movie, or are you talking about Goofy the character? I just read that differently just now. And I'm like, you should watch it. Okay, so it is a it's about Goofy movie. 1995. I may have seen it, Melissa. I'm old enough to have, yeah, Goofy the character, yeah. Actually, Rhino, Albertros, thank you for the $2. Actually, Rhino, it's pronounced Broth. What did I pronounce incorrectly? Oh, brother. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm so fucking retarded. That's so funny. That's so funny to me. Let's see. Is it really pronounced like that?
What did you say about my brother? That's not a show. Nah. What did you say?
It is. Oh, it's so cringe. Oh, it's so bad. I'm sorry. It's just bad. It's bad. Bring back Hakuna Matata and stuff like that. But this is the thing, apparently, and I've never seen it, and I refuse to watch it. The live action Lion King movie. One that made over $2 billion. I've never watched it. I never will. And it's because of my love of the original that I won't taint that with my viewing of it. Never. Never. And I don't think I'll ever watch Mufasa either. I don't think I'll ever watch Mufasa either. What did you say about my brother? Just say about my brother. Let's get rid of that. So anyway, it's interesting to see what's happening between Sonic and Mufasa. Very interesting. All right. Moving right along. All right, we're pretty much done with that. We're going to get into some Star Wars stuff now. Tell Favreau to direct another Iron Man movie. I don't know if that's even a good idea anymore. I really don't. Don't know if that's even a good idea anymore. This is the thing. I don't even know. Like, if you were to ask me, it's kind of like when people have asked me in the past, like, how would you fix Star Wars? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I know how I would do it, yes. But that's in a whole nother realm that could even possibly happen. So what could I do to fix what could you do to fix the MCU? I don't know. You need to pretty much annihilate 50% of what you've created. in regards to Disney or Lucasfilm, for that matter, I should say, you've got to eliminate everything that you've created in Star Wars since the moment you purchased it. How do they fix? Now, this is the thing. I don't pay a lot of attention to things like Star Trek or Doctor Who. I don't pay any attention to Doctor Who whatsoever. But based on what I've seen and what I've heard in regards to those, how do you fix those? I don't know. It starts from the top. So yes, let's talk about Lucasfilm for a second, because that's what I do obviously know about. Kathleen Kennedy, yes, she needs to go. But again, and I've said this multiple times, once she's gone, what changes? Nothing, because of the people that she's put in place. So you've got to go through these franchises with a fine-tooth comb, remove the crap, the wokeness, the identity politics, all the bullshit, and replace and probably have it as tight and small as possible would be the best way to do it, to be honest with you. But have people that understand the franchise, know the laws, know the canon. Now, again, it's not to say that you couldn't have a good director come in or someone that isn't necessarily a fan. I mean, look at fucking Tony Gilroy and Andor, right? Like, praise the shit out of him, hates Star Wars. But they would have to be willing to essentially compromise and give up power in their direction to people that do actually understand, and at least be willing to take the advice and, act on that advice. These franchises were created by very creative people that loved what they created, loved what they made. George Lucas loved Star Wars, called them his children, called them his baby, right? Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek. I don't know the creator of Doctor Who, but the creator of Doctor Who, Tolkien with The Lord of the Rings. It's funny that those people cared more about canon and all of this kind of thing than George R.R. Martin, based on what I've seen. But these people went out and they created these franchises out of their love of the vision that they had. And now they've been taken over by these corporations that now just want to use them as platforms instead of keeping true to what the stories were and actually having the story teach maybe the audience a bit of a lesson here and there. That was better storytelling. When you as an audience member went out of an episode going, wow, I relate to that. But it wasn't because they shoved the relation to you in your face, or it wasn't because they made it so that you could see yourself on the screen. You could just put yourself in that position and go, shit, what the fuck would I do? And then when they make a decision that goes against maybe what you would have probably done, and then you see why they maybe made that decision and it blows your mind, that's good storytelling. And you don't have to look like the person that's teaching, let's say, that lesson in that episode or in that movie. So to basically, with all of these things, even Marvel, especially in recent times, Marvel as well, these franchises, they need a complete overhaul to fix them. We've talked about how Kevin Feige's talked about, turning the page or, turning the corner and actually going back to the problem is, Kevin, is the damage is done. What are you going to do about the damage that you've done? is still just there, and you're now just going to carry on. You know, it's kind of the shift going back is going to be just as obvious as the shift going out. You know, it's kind of like the best example of this is The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. The Last Jedi shit all over The Force Awakens and shit all over the fans and shit all over Star Wars. And then the Rise of Skywalker comes out and tries to fix those things, which is a fuck you to Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi. But at the same time, there's still massive amounts of fuck yous to the fans as well. So what do we do with the entertainment that we're watching? This was another thing. Look at that. Did you see that? Eric was comfortable. Charles just jumps in there and pushes him out. Now he's going to get comfortable in there. Cheeky motherfucker. What a cheeky motherfucker. I need another drink before we get into the Star Wars stuff. I went on a bit of a rant there, as I usually do. All right, I will be right back. Oh, I played the new, well, not the new. We used to play it on the full Aussie with Mozza doing the floss with the countdown. Did you guys like that? This one? He's a dirty fucking dog. But yes, I will play you. He is the star of the fart. If I can fucking find it. Of course, it's up near the top, and I scrolled right down to the bottom. I'll be right back.
Oh, Mozza, read that.
So
Mufasa, don't let the American bitch.
Did you just fart?
Yes, I did. Tell you what to do.
I think it's bedtime, Mozza.
Question mark.
I think it's bedtime for Mozza.
He pushed so far.
That's the type of videos that we watch on fucking Happy Hump Day.
I gotta pee. Oh my god.
Sorry, it was so nice just standing in the entrance to my fridge. All right. Charles is down. Shift over. Yeah. He's a cheeky motherfucker. It's funny though, because they're two male cats. They almost like fight for domination, like who's alpha. And Charles used to throw his weight around because he's a bit fat. He's got a bit of a belly. But I reckon that Eric's just a little bit more timid, so he sort of just lets him beat him. But more recently, Eric has been beating him, and like it's so funny. Like I'll be sitting on the couch, and Charles used to come over, and he'd get the pats first, and then maybe Eric would come over after Charles has sort of had enough. But now it's the other way around, and I've noticed it. They're getting older, so Charles is getting weaker. And Eric is starting to take advantage. Do we need headphones? No, we don't need headphones right now, but we're going to put those down there so they're ready to go. All right. Let's get into some Star Wars stuff. Oh, speak of the devil. Hello, Eric. He'd be getting hungry. That's what the problem is, look. All I have to do is look at him. It's a stare off. Oh, you lose. You lost. Yeah, you did. You looked away. All right, here we go. Here we go. Charlotte's back. Hello, Charlotte. All right, here we go. So we are now 500 days away from the release of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Are we really counting down from 500 days out? The thing that blows my mind with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is that they have wrapped filming. Now, I understand that there's, a bit of time that needs to be, goes into post-production. But this movie's not being released until mid 2026 or something? Maybe even late 2026. Is there a release date for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? I'm sure we've checked this before on here. Mando and Grogu. Movie release date. Okay, so it's May 22nd of May 2026. That's like over a year of post-production. I just don't know why it's taking that long. They could release this movie in 2025, couldn't it? Or am I just thinking that it doesn't take that long when it actually does? Yeah. That's probably true. It is probably true. But man, they are throwing everything at this movie. We've covered a lot of it in regards to who's going to be in this movie. Some of the cameos that are going to be there already. And this is the thing. These are the ones that we're hearing about. You wait, man. They're going to throw everything and everyone at this movie. Oh, Gina, you could really fuck them. You could really fuck him, win the lawsuit, but basically say that you should be in this movie. Technically, she probably should be, right? Her character should be in this movie. And then they'll have to reshoot it with you in it. And it'll just be a mess. I mean, I don't want that because I honestly don't want Gina to go back. I think the character of Cara Dune is flawed, big time. Love Gina though. So yeah, 500 days out from this movie being released. I don't even understand why this is sort of like an announcement thing. It's not an announcement, obviously. It's just a fan thing, right? The Star Wars Underworld Network. It's just a fan-made, thing. They're counting down. But it's just like, who does that is my point. Who does that? This was interesting. So the Acolyte posted this. Congratulations to the cast and crew of the Acolyte on their NAACP Image Awards nomination for Outstanding Original Score for Television or Motion Picture. Now, if I remember correctly, there was a lot of music in this show that people laughed at. Now, I'd probably argue that it wasn't as bad. Now, this is the thing; it's blanked out so much that I honestly can't really remember. But if memory does serve me correctly, the music in The Mandalorian is actually worse to me than what we got in The Acolyte. That sort of techno music when they're flying in and stuff. It just feels really out of place. And then in the middle of that techno music, you get that bing, bing, the Mandalorian sound. But yeah, is that the only thing that it really did get nominated for? And I mean, this is just a shoehorn nomination to be fair. They had to give it something. They had to give it something. And they couldn't give it to any of the performances. They couldn't give it to the director. They couldn't give it to the editing. They couldn't give it to post-production. They couldn't give it to pre-production. They couldn't give it to anyone. The only thing that they could do is go, the music was good enough. Let's give them a nomination for the music. Even though I dare say a lot of Star Wars fans would say that a lot of the music in it didn't really make it feel like Star Wars. So congratulations to The Acolyte on its nomination for Outstanding Original Score. Well done. What do you reckon the Acolyte fans are saying about this, or how they're reacting to this? I reckon it's a bit like that, personally. Hey, you new members, you can drop seal clap emojis in the chat if you like. Is it true that George Lucas has been making moves? Yeah, sorry. To buy Star Wars. I doubt it. Like, I'm curious though, where did you hear that rumor? Was it through a YouTube video? Was it through an article? Was it based off a stream? I would very much doubt it. The reason why George Lucas gave it up was because he did want the stories to continue, but he was becoming a father, like, he's, had other kids, but I think they've all been adopted, whereas he was actually having his own actual child. And she was like 6 when he sold it or something like that, and George isn't young. I very much doubt that he'd buy it back. And like even last week, we talked about how Dave Filoni, he talked about how he's been talking with George Lucas and the door's always open to him and stuff like that. And I even said then, like, I don't buy it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Let's see. Did you... I just don't see it happening. I couldn't see Disney selling Lucasfilm. With how much they've invested in it, they're yet to see a return on that investment, I would think and probably assume. But it was funny going to Florida and going to, seeing how big the Disney park stuff is. Jay took me around on the Skyline thing. It's just a free, you just jump on and you can go around and see, man, this thing is huge. And it's got constant revenue coming in. Now, yeah, they're getting diminishing returns on a lot of their movies and a lot of their shows and stuff like that. And sometimes they get a hit. And obviously that will make up for some of the losses when it comes to the studio kind of side of things. But I'm telling you now, like with how big Disney is, it'd take a hell of a lot for them to go under. And it would take a hell of a lot, I reckon, for them to give up Star Wars. And it's kind of like, again, what difference would it make? Like, okay, who would Lucasfilm sell to, like, who would Disney sell Lucasfilm to? Apple TV? I doubt it. It would need to be one of the, like, I don't know. Elon, buy it. What are you doing? Your dog. If anything, they'd pay him to be the head of the story room. It would be funny to see the look on Kathleen Kennedy's face. You're right. But like, I feel like with what they've done, like the writer's room at Lucasfilm seems to be massive. And I really don't think it should be as big as it is. Now, yeah, you can have, let's say, a conference with a lot more people and, you know, troubleshoot ideas. But when it comes to sitting down and actually writing the stuff, I really feel like it should only be like 2 or 3 people. You know, yeah, shoot around the ideas and everything. But when it comes to actually structuring it, it should just be a couple of people. Now, I could be wrong in saying that too. Maybe George Lucas had a whole lot more. It seemed like, you know, in some of the videos, he had more than just 2 or 3 people. But, you know, I feel like if you just had like a law guy, an actual writer, and maybe the director of each project in a room to sit down, storyboard, and structure out the movies, or, you know, a trilogy or whatever, it'd be a hell of a lot better. Because, again, you could have the director there, and the director doesn't even necessarily have to be like a massive Star Wars fan or anything. But if they're in that room when they're discussing these ideas, and you've got the lore guy there, and he's saying this is why this would be really good, or a really emotional thing to put in, or whatever, right? We'll give the director some semblance of what they're going for in the, you know, movie, show, whatever. So, Mozza the Tard. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Peter Griffin. How do you think Horn? I don't know how you pronounce Horn. Will play Baylan Skoll. I've got that actually. Let's seeing as you've asked that question. Oh no. Oh, let's get rid of that tab. Where is it? Baylan Skoll. No, that's James Mangold. Here it is. What? Okay, so who? See, I never watched Game of Thrones, so excuse my naivety in regards to who you're talking about there. But obviously, it was that character from Game of Thrones. Will reportedly take over the role of Baylan Skoll from the late, I was going to say great, Ray Stevenson in Acolyte Season 2. The thing is, because I really don't know what else is. Oh no, that's not spelled correctly. McCain. Oh, there's a lot of reports about it. So he was in Gladiator 2, he was in Jumanji, he was in Game of Thrones, he was in Hot Fuzz. What role did he play in Hot Fuzz? Is he on this list? Seymour. Michael Armstrong. I don't remember. But I do love that movie. How good's that movie? Hot Fuzz. He's in Knuckles. He's in Triple X. Clash of the Titans. Okay. He's got a big fucking list of shit. All right. Being that I don't really know too much, and from what I have seen that he is in, I honestly don't remember him too much from it. He was great in Game of Thrones. They obviously need to recast. And this is the thing with recasting. You know, as long as they're getting... Tell me, guys, who have they recast? Who have they recast that has done a good job? Like like I would say that the Han Solo one, I didn't really like it, and it was unnecessary because you don't need to tell a Han story solo, prequel story. You don't need to do any of that, and especially show him meeting Chewie in a shower. Ahsoka was shit. It was. But they have to. Like the character's story of Baylan Skoll isn't over, and in fact was probably one of the most, if not the most, like talked about thing when it came to the narrative of the story of Ahsoka. Nobody cared about Thrawn. Nobody cared about Ahsoka. Nobody cared about Ezra. Nobody cared about Hera. Nobody cared about any of that stuff. But when it came to like, oh, Baylan Skoll's an interesting character, that took off. So, you know, I dare say that they've done, I would hope that they've done their due diligence in making sure that they're getting a character that can play the role the same way. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it. They have to do, like, I've got a problem with the show of Ahsoka in general, more than I have a problem with them, like, and I don't think the question was, you know, do you have a problem with it? It was more so, how is he going to do? And I think if he's a decent actor and he, you know, I think he'll do fine. Still think the character's flawed. I still think the show's flawed. Big time. Big time. So that was that news. Thank you. What are we moving on to now? Oh, James Mangold. So this was something, it's actually kind of funny. Ever since on that Casual Rage a few weeks ago, I said we haven't really been hearing too much about James Mangold's movie. All we've been really hearing about is the Mandalorian and Grogu and the Rey debacle and disaster that is, the Rey movie. But ever since then, we've been hearing little bits and pieces here and there about James Mangold's movie. And he came out, this is obviously via what, Movie Web, I'm guessing, being that they've been tagged in it. It would be taking place 25,000 years before any known Star Wars movie takes place. 25,000 years? Have we had any, like, does the EU go back that far? I'm pretty sure it does. Or at least there's references to it. See, this is where my Star Wars knowledge sort of starts to diminish a little bit. I'm not that interested in being handcuffed by so much lore at this point that it's almost immovable. It's almost immovable. And you can't please everybody. So, okay. This is the thing, James Mangold. Not being handcuffed by so much lore at this point scares me. Do you know why it scares me? Because if he's going back, if he is truly going back to like the origins of the Jedi or to the origins of the Force, the first ever Force users and stuff like this, you are effectively creating the lore. You've got to know your shit more than anyone to give a semblance of the lore, the Force evolving, people's abilities evolving. If we are truly seeing the first semblances of Force wielders and abilities and stuff like that, which is what this has been described as, you've got to know your shit so that you know where you've got to get to with that stuff. Imagine not being handcuffed by the law and then like ends up coming out and uses one of the most okay, so let's just say the law, there's actually some pretty massive law around Force lightning, right? And the law that you get from Force lightning, a lot of it you actually learn in the Plagueis book when Plagueis is actually training Palpatine, right? But, Force lightning. Now, being that James Mangold isn't going to be handcuffed to the law, what's to say that, we've already had it with Rey where she uses Force lightning without actually being hit with any... Did she get hit with Force lightning by Snoke? Maybe she did. But even still, without the knowledge and knowing what she's doing, she just gets angry and it just beams out of her hand. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Essence transfer, a dark side ability. Essence transfer. So my point is James Mangold comes in, he's not handcuffed to the lore, he's not handcuffed to the canon at this point in time because it's so new and fresh, but you've got to make sure that you know your stuff so you don't cross any lines when it comes to the lore that has been established, right? So if he's not handcuffed to it, that means that he could have a light side user, let's say, use Force lightning without being hit by any sort of Force lightning or anything like that. It just happened, right? Or you get an essence transfer from a light side user. These are the things that I start to think about when I hear somebody say something like this. Force lightning is the reason R2 can fly. Excuse me. He's a fun for hire, gun for hire. Yeah, he is. Logan. I might actually watch Logan tonight. I do like that movie. But yeah, anyway, James, I'm not... it's kind of the same thing with Tony Gilroy, right? And his comments about not having aliens or droids and stuff like that, and why he decided not to do that. Let's see. What do we got here next? All these pages. So here's a question for everyone here in the chat. Everyone watching, here's a question for you from Star Wars Stuff. The prequel trilogy faced harsh criticism when it first released. However, decades later, it's now celebrated by many fans. Could the sequel trilogy have a similar redemption arc over time? I think we're what, 7 years from The Last Jedi, right? And people were saying it would take 10 years. I think that people's perception of the sequels in 7 years, or let's say it's 9 years, really, isn't it? since the first one has gotten worse. It's gotten worse. Carl, how you doing? He says that will never happen. It will never happen. Has it been 10 years now since The Force Awakens? Now, if you remember correctly, The Force Awakens was, mostly received positively. Ryan Kennel saw the fire through the trees. It's probably a bad analogy to use right now. But he saw what the problems were from the very beginning, and it took The Last Jedi for people to go back and go, huh. Maybe this wasn't as good as I thought. There's still a lot of people out there that were saying that it was just The Force Awakens was just a redo of A New Hope, which it is. Just a worse version of it, really. But this is never going to happen. Ever. And like I said, if anything, over the time that these things have been out, they have been constantly shat on. I mean, fucking wasn't The Last Jedi used in like theater schools or something like this to show students how not to make movies, how not to do motion pictures, how not to do storytelling? A shitty remake, I agree. Yep, it was just a rehash of A New Hope. Quinton, you're absolutely right. With, yes, OG character assassinations, 100%. 100%. And the crazy thing is that Han Solo was character assassinated in the first movie. You could almost argue that Leia at the same time was assassinated, but she was assassinated in the last one, and Luke was assassinated in the second one. The Trinity, the Star Wars Trinity of OG characters was destroyed, completely destroyed over 3 movies. And then all it took was a little Skinwalker cameo at the end of a shitty second season of The Mandalorian for people to be like, oh, Lucasfilm, they know. And then they give us some shitty lessons and some shitty shit in the Book of Boba Fett with Luke Skywalker and Grogu so they can put their most popular character. It's funny that they come out and they say that Rey is their most, popular character. And that's why it's important to do a Rey movie, when I would argue that out of all the characters that you've actually created, like your own characters, Disney, Grogu's at the top of your list. And you are coming out with a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me if in the Rey movie we get an older Grogu. I wonder if we're actually going to hear him speak, or will they leave that to, the Rey movie? If he's going to actually speak in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or whether or not he's, going to speak in this. What's this? I saw Dave Filoni's picture. Dave Filoni's Star Wars film will reportedly feature characters from Skeleton Crew. This is exactly, though, what I'm talking about. And I'm curious, right? Dave Filoni's been working on this movie for how long? 2 years? Since it was announced at 2023 Star Wars Celebration. So it's been about 2 years. Or maybe because it was late 2023. So what? It's been maybe a year and coming up to a year and a half, let's say. Right? Now, yeah, you did know a year and a half ago, I guess, that these characters were a thing and they existed. You didn't know how that they were going to be received. Like, are you just making this up as you go and you're just throwing in things that, aren't shit? Now, that's not to say that Skeleton Crew isn't shit, because I do believe that it is actually shit and it's shit Star Wars. But you know, the general consensus out there is that it's not offensive and it's not necessarily terrible, and the kids do a reasonable job acting. There is one character in there that's insufferable. You know, it's the tomboy chick that literally isn't a tomboy, just a boy with a female skin on it. And there is a difference. But, like, what have you been doing, Dave, in regards to your movie? And, like, was this always a thing, or have you just brought this in now, or are you just sort of announcing this now because Skeleton Crew isn't being criticized as badly as something as, let's say, the Acolyte? Is that why we're not getting an announcement that the Acolyte, you're using Acolyte characters in your movie? I mean, it wouldn't work. I get it because of the timeline thing. But you don't give a fuck about time. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if you were to drag a character from 100 years, a couple of 100 years in the past and bring them a couple of 100 years in the future just so that you could have them as a cameo. It certainly would not surprise me. And the way that you'll do it is through the World Between Worlds or some shit like that. Disney Star Wars is such a broken thing. And these shills, you know, it's been funny kind of over the last couple of weeks watching, you know, Melvin's shill off and watching Grizzy's shill awards, you know, and obviously we go through our seals of the weeks and all of that sort of thing. And, you know, the one thing that we keep seeing really, and this is one of the seals of the week. No, it's not that one. It's this one. Oh man, it's so small. Here, let me. Thanks, Mike, for sending this to me. This was Jacob. You all know Jacob. However, fucking Melvin does it. He does it the best. He writes, this is for episode 7. Now, I do want to remind you guys, I am obviously catching up on my Skeleton Crew reviews. You've had episode 4 and 5 released this week. I'm editing 6 after we finish the stream tonight, and you'll have that tonight. And then I still need to watch 7. I haven't watched 7, and obviously that released a couple of days ago. So I haven't watched 7 yet. But this is what Jacob has to say about episode 7 of the Skeleton Crew. He says, wow, tonight's episode of Skeleton Crew was incredible, all caps. One of the best episodes from any Star Wars series, in my opinion. How many times have we heard that from Jacob, Jacob? How did that end up there? We were talking about that. And then we were talking about that. How did that? Did we already talk about the Knights of the Old Republic stuff? Whoa, why am I tripping so hard? I'll come back to that because there's more Skeleton Crew stuff in here that I want to talk about before we got to that. If we did. No, we haven't talked about it. Okay, good. So yeah, we hear this shit all the time from the shells, from the seals, right? Oh my God, this is peak Star Wars. Oh my God, this is the best Star Wars we've ever had. Oh my God, it's red. Oh my God, he evaded. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Seal clap their way through it. That's what they do. But like, who cares? Who cares? Do you really think that by telling people that it's going to apparently, you know, it's rumored to feature characters from Skeleton Crew. Now, it might not be any of the kids. It might be the Jude Law character. It might be the droid. But honestly, no one cares. You know how I know no one cares? We'll come to that in a second. Skeleton Crew has the worst Star Wars rating on Disney Plus, lower than the Acolyte. The Acolyte got cancelled. The Acolyte got cancelled because of its poor viewership, really. I mean, yes, it was being shit on like by everyone. Absolutely everyone was making fun of it, was laughing at it, was telling how ridiculous and stupid it was for this to even be a Star Wars thing, let alone a thing altogether. To completely remove it from the Star Wars thing, and it's fucking mind-blowing how fucking shit it is. But Skeleton Crew has a worse rating. And for me, this is almost like a Solo thing, right? Like Last Jedi Solo, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew. This is what I say. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they do finally release a movie. When they finally come out with this Mandalorian and Grogu movie in 2026, again, no movies in 2025 for Lucasfilm. But it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do in 2025 to try and get some of those people back. I mean, fuck, it would seem like the Skeleton Crew has already got Star Wars Theory back, which is going to, in turn, get, other people in his chats to, be positive about it. And it's not to say that I wouldn't want to be positive about Star Wars, but there's no inkling of positivity from me towards Disney Star Wars at all. Let it burn. Because they're doing it to themselves. They're burning it down themselves. There's a specific part in here. The bottom spot on the Nelson streaming originals list belongs to the Great British Bake Off with 382 million minutes viewed. Since Skeleton Crew didn't make the list, it didn't even make the top 10 list at all. And I think there was a couple of times that the Acolyte did make it on the list. I think didn't make it on the list. Its total viewership was below 382 million minutes. Meaning the average per episode was under 191 million minutes. The Acolyte also premiered its first 2 episodes, just like Skeleton Crew did, in one night and made the Nelson ratings with 488 million minutes viewed, averaging 244 million minutes per episode. Now, this is the thing. Depends obviously on the length of episode. I do think that it was the same for both. Like the first one was like a 45-minute episode, and then the next one was like a 30-minute episode or something like that, right? But there was a massive drop-off for this. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if there was a massive drop-off for this either. Because even for me, going into like episodes 4, 5, 6, I just couldn't be fucked. Like, it's so lame and boring and childish and so not Star Wars that I don't really want to watch it, to be honest. Endor premiered with its first 3 episodes and made the list with 624 million minutes, averaging 208 million minutes per episode. Oh, because it was 3 episodes. Sorry, yeah. Okay, that calculation works out. Is that all it really says? Again, the 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew averaged lower than 191 million minutes, falling short of both Acolyte and Andor. This tells you something when you do have people out there that are saying, the story's fine, I guess. And I've been saying it too. As a kid's adventure story, it's lame and it's a little boring. But, I could see that kids could get some enjoyment out of it. But then to put it in Star Wars and to do it the way that they're doing it, like there was one thing through what I was editing last night where they're walking through the ship or whatever, And like the quarters, the captain's quarters of the ship, they've really made it look like that back captain quarters of like an actual pirate ship. I'm sorry, that's just not Star Wars to me. It's not. In a galaxy where like armor, Beskar armor, and like lightsabers and blasters and things like that exist, and then you got like a pirate hat. Ahar, me hearties, and the droid talks like "Arr, shmee, hey, arr." He actually does the R's and the ers. Program that way. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Skeleton Crew. It'll just get cancelled, thrown into the ether of cancelled, crappy, shitty rated, shitty Star Wars shows, Disney Star Wars shows. Let's watch this. I haven't watched it. I just saw that it obviously had to do with the Skeleton Crew. Take a look behind the scenes of Skeleton Crew episode 6, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. Stream the full episode on whatever. Hello, Keely Chow. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Let's take a... Oh, no, now, because I plugged in my headphones, it will... It's crazy that it does that. If I share audio and then I plug my headphones in, the audio stops sharing. So I need to re-share it. All right, let's take a listen to what Bryce Dallas Howard has to say about episode 6. And I have seen episode 6. And she did get a lot of praise for this episode.
In my episode, there's this really, really cool creature that I was obsessed with. I just called her like Mama Crab, VFX supervisor. John came up with this great idea where he was like, don't you want like a shot where the kids are just like experiencing the like Mama Crab's like breath? And I was like, oh, that is so fantastic. So that's exactly what we
Oh, I shouldn't have paused.
shot.
The crab monster is like this total Ray Harryhausen creature. Bill Tippett and his team built this stop motion puppet in 12 shots, and each shot takes 2 weeks. Every single one of those legs has to be moved a little bit for every frame. And then the little eyeballs too.
The one thing that I will say is it's good that they used some practical effects, and it for something that was practical and stop motion and everything, I will say it actually kind of looked good. But the concept of a giant mama droid crab, like this is a trash crab, right? That has like they're little baby crabs. You can't really see it behind them, but they all look different because they've got like one looked like it almost had one of those old school tube TV sets on its back, you know. Yeah. Sorry, it's too hot for me to keep my headphones on. I actually laughed at this crab creature thing. It did, for again stop motion. I think it looked fine. But again, these just some of the decisions that they're really making over there at Lucasfilm right now blow my mind. It blows my mind considering like how these things have been received. I know that they just see it through the lens of we're a toxic, you know, sexist, racist, misogynistic fan base. But if they did actually sit down, and I do believe they are listening, but if like to some people, but if they would actually sit down and listen to like the actual criticisms of the shows or the criticisms of what we think about the characters, I think they find that there is no real racism, sexism, or misogyny in there. It is more about the storytelling, motivations of characters. Those sorts of elements is, I think, what gets criticized more. You know, Moses Ingram didn't get, and they certainly couldn't show receipts of racist comments. And I think they did try and show receipts, but the receipts that they showed were like, okay, like that wasn't even that bad. But also too, how do you know that the person writing that isn't a black dude or a black woman? How do you know that? You're calling them a racist. I didn't think that blacks could be racist. Or can blacks only be racist to other blacks where, you know, blacks can't be racist to whites, but whites can be racist to blacks? You know. Anyway. That's basically the Skeleton Crew talk. We do have a video, but I'm also going to give you guys the option because there's a risk to watching this video. Should we just watch Ryan's video to this? I was going to talk about the Knights of the Old Republic. So this is back in the news again, but it's not back in the news as like a, you know, they're redoing the game. I've heard things that the game is still in development. They're still working on the game. But I thought we did it not that long ago where we reported that it's been shelved or cancelled or they're not doing it anymore. So I don't really like, this is the thing with Lucasfilm, right? With the amount of announcements and stuff that we get, this is why I say I don't care. I'll review it or I'll see it when it comes out and I'll believe it when I see it. But this is something a little bit different. This is Lucasfilm is reportedly developing a new Star Wars show set during the Knights of the Old Republic era. Once again, it's just a rumor. You know, it's funny. Let me see if I can just find this really quickly. Hold on a second. Just a little something to wet your whistle when it comes to what's coming up for Seal of the Week.
Who cares? Even if Revan does become a girl, it'll still be dope.
Good on you, Darth Paws. But that's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was, I think it was here. So the great Sawyerism. We know this. We know Sawyerism, don't we? This is a nomination for her for Seal of the Week. You're getting a preview to Seal of the Week here for actually a few of the nominees. But just her first opening statement to this. We need to get away from the idea that new Star Wars movies should follow Legends continuity. You know what, Sawyerism? For once in our lives, I actually agree with you. I actually agree with you. It's amazing. It's 100% amazing. You should stop dragging characters, storylines, planets, and destroying those characters, storylines, and planets in the Disney Star Wars stuff. You should stop grabbing stuff from there because guess what? Disney decided to decanonize it and throw it in the bin so that they could have creative freedom and make their own characters and make their own universe. And all they've done since then is pluck from the expanded universe, not Legends, the EU, and destroyed it. Destroyed it when they brought it in, just like Plagueis in your most loved fucking Acolyte show. So we agree. We actually finally agree on something. Disney needs to stay away from the idea of following the EU and dragging shit out of the EU. It's amazing how we can actually agree on that one thing. Incredible. So in saying that, this shouldn't be happening. Right, Sawyer? When they release a Revan movie or TV show and they make Revan a woman because you were able to make Revan a woman in the game, right? Despite the fact that in all the other parts of the lore, Revan is actually a dude, right? And they make Revan a woman, you should then have a problem with that, right? Right, Sawyer? Or are you going to try and cancel the YouTubers that come out and say that that's wrong, and call them all sexist, toxic fans? Let's watch Ryan's video. Fuck it. Fuck it. It's not long, and he makes some really good points. What? Ryan Kennel. All right. Let me put my headphones in before we share audio here. Excuse me. Getting a little hungry too. All right. So Ryan released this video today. Let's have a listen. 6 minutes. We can speed it up a little bit.
Even though there's currently a Disney Star Wars show on Disney Plus actively airing new episodes right now, no one is paying attention, and that would be Skeleton Crew. And a large part of that reason is, one, the general audience that it's geared for, and two, people's complete apathy towards Star Wars at this point in time. And of course, last year we saw the complete and total pathetic failure of The Acolyte. And with the projects that have currently been announced, a lot of people wondering, what's the next thing that they're going to desecrate? What's the next thing that they're going to destroy? And we might have an answer. It's not the first time that this has popped up. Probably won't be the last time that this rumor or report has popped up. But here it is. Lucasfilm reportedly developing a Knights of the Old Republic era Star Wars series. And there's an important thing to note. One, that it's just a report from a fucking stupid Daniel Rickman, who's not exactly right about everything. But two, he didn't exactly say a Knights of the Old Republic show. He said a Knights of the Old Republic era show, which could mean Knights of the Old Republic, could mean anything in that.
Correct. That it's 100%. It's a Knights of the Old Republic era show. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it will revolve around Revan or something like that. But can you really see them doing an Old Republic era series without Revan? It wouldn't surprise me if they bring in Malik or something as well.
That range in the Old Republic leaves a lot to be imagined there, doesn't it? Rumor says Star Wars series set in Old Republic in development at Disney+. Another year starts and another Star Wars rumor pops up on the internet. Daniel Rickman posts over the weekend a few things he's been hearing regarding the Hollywood big franchise, including Star Wars. Via The Gamer, he claims to be hearing a show set during the Knights of the Old Republic era is in development at Lucasfilm. This would mean a timeline removed thousands of years in the past from The Phantom Menace and The Acolyte. The era references the 2003 beloved game by BioWare of the same name, which took place 4,000 years before the formation of the Galactic Empire. Listen, we've heard this thrown around a couple times before. And
this is the thing, like the Old Republic takes place 4,000 years before the movies. James Mangold's talking about 25,000 years before, like going back a long fucking way, man.
Even as far back as 2019. I don't know how many of you guys remember this. I did a video talking about Kathleen Kennedy and Disney. Maybe they'll do a terrible adaptation and destroy KOTOR next. And one of the reasons was because what we heard Kathleen Kennedy say.
Yeah.
This is in April of 2019. This is almost 6 years ago at this point. Let's listen.
This is April 2019. This is before Rise of Skywalker, right? 2019, yes.
There's a little bit of bittersweetness in the air because this is the end of the saga, end of some stories of characters that we have grown to love. Do you think we're going to see any of these core characters?
Bro, this is a Disney Star Wars Celebration 2019.
Again in the future, and is there an appropriate time to wait before considering that?
There is an appropriate time. We're using this appropriate time.
Yeah, we're using
it's so funny the way she talks. It almost reminds me of Kamala Harris. The appropriate time. We're using this appropriate time to do the appropriate time things.
There is an appropriate time. We're using this appropriate time.
Yeah, we're using this was talking about the aftermath of Rise of Skywalker. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
What's the plan? It's so funny to actually listen to some of this stuff talking about
Is
Dan.
Is this the aftermath of the Rise of Skywalker? I thought it was December 2019 Rise of Skywalker came out. If this is an interview before, then this is before the Rise of Skywalker.
talking about Ryan Johnson. I know she talks about female filmmakers.
Filmmakers that are writing or directing or attached to any project.
Did I say?
We
What
have
did I
several
say? 2019.
Female
In
directors that are
2019,
working with us
if I
on
said it.
Mandalorian right now, and we'll be doing the same thing with the Cassian Andor, and then conversations with David and Dan and Ryan.
Oh my
have been
God.
that once we begin to block out the next 10 years, that will be a huge focus.
Yeah, I think, Kathy, a lot of Star Wars fans are trying to block out the last 10 years. Where, you blocked out the next 10 years, and we've been seeing what you've been blocking out, and we're trying to now block it out.
Yeah, female directors. How's that fucking 10-year plan, and how's all of that worked out for you, Kathleen Kennedy, you dumb bitch? But here's what I actually wanted to listen to, and it's when the mention of Knights of the Old Republic is out there.
Knights of the Old Republic, a lot of fans want to see that. Is there any development of that?
We talk about that all the time. Yes, we are developing something to look at.
I completely agree with you, Soul Assassin, that it won't work in the Disney canon. Do they care? No. Did they care when they brought Thrawn over? And, Thrawn doesn't fit in Disney canon, and the way that they made Thrawn isn't the real Thrawn. Did they care? Dave Filoni, it's rude. It is rude, Dave. I need to actually get that clipped.
At right now, I have no idea where things might fall.
Yeah,
but we have to be careful.
So this is
there is
before
a
Rise of
cadence
Skywalker.
to Star Wars that doesn't start to feel like too much. We don't have a crystal ball.
Oh, don't worry. We reached that point a while ago. We reached that point a long time ago when it comes to Disney Star Wars, because there's too much Disney Star Wars out there. But of course, the idea that with all these things that they've bastardized already, all these things that they've destroyed, that they would need to go back to the well and find something else that people care about to adapt, it wouldn't surprise me in any way. Now, with it being said, in that era, could they just do an Old Republic thing and not be connected to that, but call it Knights of the Old Republic
100%.
in the same way that Dave Filoni's fucking hack ass, that piece of shit who ripped off Tales of the Jedi?
I love when Ryan gets ramped up and angry about this stuff, because this, Ryan's love of Star Wars goes way beyond just the movies. And as a massive Star Wars fan before Disney took it over, yeah, I knew the stories, and I'd watched some videos and seen some synopsis of the expanded universe, and I understood the characters, some of them, and I knew some of the stories, but I never really jumped in and read them. And it's probably because, you guys see how bad sometimes my reading is with my dyslexia, that I started obviously having to get into the audiobooks. But, when Disney took it over, I was excited that we were going to actually start seeing some of the expanded universe on the big screen. And then when they decanonized it, it's like, all right, well, let's give them a chance. And we gave them a chance with The Force Awakens and moving forward. And they've completely spat in our faces, flipped us the bird and said, no, we don't need you. Steezo for Life is here. How you doing? Hello, all. Hello, Steezo.
The title from a beloved 90s comic
Yeah,
series.
I love
Decided
Ryan.
to use that.
Not
Not using any characters, not using anything like that, but instead use that as the name for his animated project, even the logo and everything, just to try to remind people of that. Could we see them do something like that, similar with Star Wars Knights of the Republic? Possibly.
Yeah.
The truth is, I want them to stay as far as they fucking can away from anything that was done so much better than they could ever possibly do it in the expanded universe. Knights of the Old Republic is still one of those things. We know that Knights of the Old Republic remake game that has been kind of in limbo for years and years, apparently that's still in the works. Maybe that comes out, maybe it doesn't.
Apparently, but
I don't want any of these people at Lucasfilm to touch KOTOR. I don't want them touching the character of Revan. I don't want them anywhere near something. We've already had the little teases and source books here or there that confirm Darth Revan's existence and things like that.
Yep.
I don't want them touching it. Fuck you. These people need to go away. Either create your own shit, really create your own shit, which will probably be dog shit, which will probably be awful, that no one will watch. Stop going back to the well for people that created something better than you could ever possibly imagine, ripping their ideas, ripping their characters off, and presenting a bastardized, disgusting version of it, like we've seen over and over and over again in Disney Star Wars. So this is not the first time we've heard a rumor of them potentially doing something surrounding Knights of the Old Republic, but damn, I hope they stay the fuck away.
Me too. Good video. If you're not subscribed to Ryan Kennel, I mean, I would assume that most of you are, but if you're not, obviously, go over and subscribe. And thank you, Soul Assassin, for dropping that link. So yeah, there you go. I completely agree with Ryan. Stay completely away from it. Now, yes, he is right in saying that they are saying that it's a Knights of the Old Republic era movie, which does mean that, yes, it could stay away from the, let's say, the main characters or the most well-known characters from the Old Republic era. Yeah, they could. And they could create their own Old Republic. And technically, that's what they should be doing. You know, that's what Ryan's saying. Fuck off. Stop pinching shit from the EU and bastardizing it and making it something that it's not, which is completely rude. Right, Dave? And make your own fucking Old Republic era. You've pretty much almost said that you've done that with the High Republic, haven't you? And this is the thing, that the fact that you've even created the High Republic means that these things can't make sense in your universe. You know, even with what you did with Plagueis in the Acolyte. Man. So stay away from the Knights of the Old Republic. You guys have to stay away from the legacy characters, and you need to listen to Sawyerism. For the first time and the last time I'll ever fucking say that. We do need to read the rest of that tweet, though. But before we do get into Seal of the Week, and then I'm going to give you guys an option. You guys have the power. So I saw this, and I thought that the trailer looked kind of decent. So I just wanted to share this with you. Did any of you guys watch the movie The Beekeeper with Jason Statham in it? I haven't watched it. I've heard good things about it, and I'm kind of interested to see it. But this is one of his new movies called The Working Man. Saw this trailer and thought, didn't look too bad. So let's take it.
So listen, today's gonna be hard. Let's all go home with the same amount of fingers that we came with. Let's get it. When my wife passed and I left the Royal Marines, a lot of people would have given up on me. You gave me a job. You were patient with me. You, Carla, Jenny, you're my family.
Excuse me, it's not your business.
I'm good, boss.
Levin, was that some military shit?
Hey, you didn't see anything.
Just get my back if I ever need it.
Jenny's missing.
She went out with her friends on Friday.
The police don't have the resources to work these cases. They take a report and forget about it.
Please, find our daughter.
Yeah, it is.
Where's the girl?
You a cop? You wish I was a cop.
So these guys are next level.
Look at those bricks. You ain't a cop. You're a working man.
That's right. Let's play. This isn't just some kidnapping. This is human trafficking. Remember Gunny?
Your blind war buddy that doesn't know he's blind?
That's the one. You shot a foot to the left, I'll be dead.
I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. I will be your weapon sommelier for this evening. This is the real beast here, M14. Pulled direct from Saddam's palace. Then I added a Bluetooth scope.
Where is she?
There's a special place, high rollers only. They can do anything as long as they pay.
Bluetooth scope.
Gangs, the mob, corrupt government officials, they're all involved in human trafficking. You're in the payroll too.
You killed your way into this. You're gonna have to kill your way out of it.
Food as much.
All of this is for a girl.
I'm not stopping until I bring her home.
That's for slapping that woman.
That woman was my wife.
That's for slapping your wife.
Who are you?
What are you?
There you go. To me, like, it is just that typical story with a lot of action movie, but it's one of those movies where you'll sit there watching this movie with your mates or something, and like in the fight scenes, you'll be like, oh, like, fucking brutal. Cool. I don't care. To me, this just feels like, here we go. Fun. No, it just feels like it would be a good action movie with a decent story to push the story along. It's nothing special, but it's Jason Statham movie. It just comes across as a typical Jason Statham movie. When you see his movies, that's what you're going to get. I do want to see Beekeeper though, but I'm interested in seeing this as well. But this is the thing with Jason Statham movies. It's not really one of those movies that I'd go to the theater to watch. I'd just watch it on streaming or, on TV or something like that. So there you go. There you go. A Working Man. Looks all right. Yeah. Enjoyable old school action movie. Perfectly put. Perfectly put. All right. Let's do Seal of the Week. But before we do, I'm going to give you guys an option here. I definitely want to watch that. Okay, so here's your option. We'll get ones and twos in the chat in a second. So, as we normally do, we'll do the nominees for Seal of the Week, and then we'll watch a video. We're probably going to watch at least two, because we're definitely going to watch Justin's Star Wars Marvel Purists Star Wars Normie Episode 1 video. But here's your choice. We can either watch Grizzy's video on woke Disney shill whines about toxic Star Wars fans, claims his fake reactions are genuine. So we're either going to watch Grizzy's video, thank you, Soul Assassin, or, now this is the kicker, I haven't seen episode 7 of Skeleton Crew, right? Which is the most recent episode, the penultimate episode. So there's one episode left. We can watch Screen Crushers episode 7 breakdown, every Star Wars Easter egg and ending explained. Now, this is the thing. I haven't watched it. And I've still got to go in and watch it and do my reaction, which I will still do. If we watch this, my reactions obviously might not necessarily be as prevalent, because I'll already sort of know what's happening. They're not going to be fake reactions. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I haven't seen it before. Carl Catan here. But it's completely up to you. So 1 in the chat if we're going to watch Grizzy's video, or 2 in the chat if you want to watch Screen Crushers video. And no matter what, we are going to watch Justin's video. Of course, if you're okay with that, Justin. Star Triggered's coming up. Yes, please go over and subscribe to Justin, Star Wars Marvel Purist. But also, too, go over and go and subscribe to the Gatekeepers Alliance as well. Carl Catan here. Oh, 1, 1, 1. Oh, 2, 1. The ones have got it so far. Mars Monkey Max. Oh, we got 1s. You've already gone 1. Mike says 1. All right. It looks like the 1s have it, guys. We're going to watch Grizzy's. I think, look, I was willing to do this. I didn't really want to do it, but, I thought, why not? And again, I haven't watched the episode, but you'll get episode 6 hopefully tonight, and then episode 7 you'll hopefully get tomorrow. And then episode 8 comes out, the last episode, and there's the link to the Gatekeepers Alliance. Go and subscribe. All right, I think you guys made the right choice, though. Now, excuse me. Before we do Seal of the Week, oh, do I save them? Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bookmark these because I've got 6. And again, I was going to give you guys the option, but I'm just going to bookmark these 2, and we'll use those for next week's Seal of the Week. How about that? Instead of you guys actually seeing what they are now, you can see what they are next week. All right, we got our 4. We've got our 4 nominations. Hold on a second here, guys. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Here we go.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right. So we already got a little cameo from this one. So Darth Paws. I got to give credit to Darth Paws for as young as he is, and you know how well spoken he can be and everything. Good dude by the sounds of things, and the looks of things. So he put this out saying, "This is the poster boy of the Star Wars fans and the self-proclaimed George Lucas purist."
Who cares? Even if Revan does become a girl, it'll still be dope.
Even if Revan does become a girl, it'll still be dope. Yep, of course you would say that, wouldn't you? Star Wars Theory, you fence-riding shill. I'll give him that title. Jacob obviously had his cameo, and this one's harder to see. Hey, Mike, I think even though I'm blocked, you should still be able to share the actual post with me now. Like, if you just want to DM me the post and see if that works, because they've made you be able to see blocked pages now, but you just can't respond or do anything to them. So just throwing that out there, it might make it easier next time as opposed to you actually having to screenshot it. Anyway, moving on. We already got the first part of this, but we'll say it again anyway. Let me get my mic a little bit closer here. Wow, tonight's episode of Skeleton Crew was incredible, all caps. One of the best episodes from any Star Wars series, in my opinion. Had a great time watching this with a few friends tonight. That's a lie. Wouldn't you watch it with your wife? And can't believe that we only have one episode left. Heartbreak. Poor Jacob. But he does say that it is the best episode of any Star Wars series. There you go. Darth Thunder is back for another nomination. He says, I love what Lucasfilm have done with Darth Vader under Disney. It's been amazing. Oh, sorry, awesome. So what have they done? What's that from? That's the Ahsoka series. That's the hallway scene, which I think most people argue is the best thing from Andor. That's from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. That's from, oh my God, that's from the video game. So's that. No, that's from Rebels. And that's from, what's that from? I don't even know what that's from. But there you go. Darth Thunder. gets another nomination. And then Sawyerism, of course, comes through with the first part of this that we 100% agree with, saying we need to get away from the idea that new Star Wars movies should follow the EU continuity. If they want to adapt those stories into film, they would, if they wanted, to adapt those stories into film, they would. But instead, we're getting new interpretations, of this vast universe. That's 100. Oh, hang on. And I, for one, look forward to whatever this movie brings. So hang on a second, Sawyerism. You're criticizing them for, saying that they should move away from the EU content, but you'll celebrate this and you're looking forward to this no matter what it gives you. So even if it does give you, that's shill mentality, seal mentality. Whatever they give me on the screen, I'm just going to applaud it. Even if they do, want to adapt and different interpretations. The thing is the new interpretations of these characters that they keep plucking out of the expanded universe or the planets or whatever it is, they tend to destroy. They don't adapt it in any way that's honorable to the source material. Anyway, there are your 4 nominees for Seal of the Week this week. Let's get the poll in the chat. And my mic's in the way. Okay. Poll is up. Just to go through them again. Number 1 was Star Wars Theory. Number 2 was J.I. Acolyte. Best episode. Number 3 is Darth Thunder. Being happy with what they've done with Darth Vader under Disney's reign. And you've got Sawyerism that I would argue that probably agree with 50% of that tweet. But she closes it off with complete shill and seal mentality. There you go. Get your votes in. Jacob gets my vote. Cool. All right. So we're going to now watch Grizzy's video. I'm going to put my headphones on again. And the real annoying thing is, guess what? It's warm. And I was going to drink that, but I haven't opened it, and it's gotten warm. Probably should have left it in the fridge. It's a good thing there's another one in there. All right, before we get into that, I'm going to get some new clips, but I'm still going to play this one. All right, I'll be back.
I said Lyndon would go to the tree and do some ASMR for you, Lethal. In your honor.
I'm so sorry. He'd be hugging that tree. And then he'd be punching it and slapping it, going, "You took my friend." Kicking it. How dare you?
That would be you, Rhino.
Nah.
Boy.
I'd be there going, "Why? Fuck you, Disney! Why?"
R4. Prepare to jettison the spare part canisters. Red 2, standing by.
Red 11, standing by.
Red 5, standing by.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil!
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost!
I'm muted. Sorry. I said, Trav, how you doing, mate? Raging Rhino, Kevin Fucktard is as much of a problem as Crapleen Kennedy and Bitch Iger. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. You know, the first phase of the MCU is probably still the best phase out of all of them. You must be a little bit further back in the stream. But yes. All right. Here we go. Grizzy. If you're not subscribed to Grizzy, I know I say it nearly every week, but of course, go over and subscribe to Grizzy. Go to subscribe to Melbourne. Go subscribe to OG Star Wars Marvel Purist, Tim at United Spaces Alliance. I always nearly say what was his name used to be? Yeah, I fucking blanked on it straight away as soon as I went to say it. Fucking retarded. Yes, there it is. Open airlock policy. But yeah, go and of course go and subscribe to the United Spaces Alliance and the Gatekeepers Alliance. Yep, Melvin, thank you for dropping all those links. Ghostface and Soul Assassin, appreciate it. All right, let's watch Grizzy's video here. Woke Disney shill whines about toxic Star Wars fans, claims his fake reactions are genuine. Who is
I
it?
just am
very
fortunate to have a really real enthusiasm for a subject matter. People.
I do want to say, Grizzy, this is incredible. 272,000 views on this Grace Randolph one. Well done.
You can always tell when someone's forcing something, and I think
you know when we can tell that you're forcing shit when you've watched these episodes 4 times over and you're reacting like a 10-year-old child would react to, I don't know, their favorite character coming out on stage at a live event, their favorite cartoon character. That's when I see disingenuous reactions.
You
know, you guys, I dare say a lot of you guys in the chat would probably watch my review videos and you would see my reactions and stuff like that. It is very rare that I have like a reaction moment. And if I do, it is basically in a mocking way towards the people that I know, like the fake Kyle Katarn here, that would react like that.
Very fortunate to have a really real enthusiasm for a subject matter. People find it engaging because they can tell that I actually am getting really excited about something, and I have very strong reactions to certain things.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Katarn claims that his Disney Star Wars reactions are genuine.
Wait, what? Let's fucking go! Was a typical philosophy for when conducting myself online, because I really am putting myself into a microscope, is to be authentic and to just be honest. Because if I try to manufacture a point of view that's not really what I have, it's exhausting to maintain that.
Not when you're faking your reactions, Katarn. Remember when you watched the act?
That's right. If it's so exhausting, it shouldn't be exhausting. I do love that. Kyle Katarn, queer.
Acolyte episode 1 on your channel for the 4th time.
This is, well, Bendu's second time seeing it. This will be my 4th time watching the first episode of The Acolyte.
And you reacted to it as if you had never seen it before?
Yes, first lightsaber ignition of the series. Ooh, Zygerian, live action Zygerian. The pilots turned back into fucking chairs.
If I try to manufacture a point of view.
Again, like, no one in their right mind can actually understand those two concepts that he saw it 4 times before and see these reactions as genuine reactions. True?
That's not really what I have. It's exhausting to maintain that.
Jedi.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Fake. I'd say just be honest and be kind. Don't misrepresent yourself.
Like you do.
Because people will always come with the receipts.
Yeah. Like Grizzy is right now. Like Grizzy is on this video right now exposing you for your hypocrisy.
Yes, like I've been doing this entire video. And here's another receipt. Proof that all this hype for Disney Star Wars is about getting your Disney Shill access and a possible payment.
And the channel has benefited from it to the point where now I do this full time. And I'm loving it, honestly. It's a really fulfilling and creative way to support yourself, I think.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
And as always, when these Disney shows get together, it always devolves into whining about the toxic Star Wars fandom.
I think that Star Wars has been unfairly sucked into a culture war that it has nothing to do with, frankly.
And
wow. It's unfairly being... Star Wars is unfairly being dragged into the culture war. I would say Star Wars is one of the biggest moments in the quote-unquote culture war when it comes to what happened from like the Force, from The Last Jedi moving forward. We'd never seen anything like the response to the backlash of the Force. Why do I keep saying the Force Awakens? To The Last Jedi. With the director, with the people, the executives at Lucasfilm shitting all over the fans, which then set a precedent moving forward that allowed directors and actors and basically cast and crew, anyone that they want, to go out and point the finger and blame the fans. It was a massive cultural moment when it comes to our entertainment. What happened with The Last Jedi? I don't know how you can say that. I want to hear it again.
About the toxic Star Wars fandom.
I think that Star Wars has been unfairly sucked into a culture war that it has nothing to do with, frankly.
And we all know how that...
Yeah, the unfair part is the fact of what this woman has done to Star Wars. She's the one that basically dragged it in with all the DEI bullshit and the Force is female crap and the... every decision that she's made. We're not making this theme park for the 50-year-olds. There's a reason why Star Wars has lasted as long as it has and has become a generational phenomenon, culture phenomenon, when it comes to fathers and their sons and some daughters and some mothers and their daughters. Some mothers and their sons, like the generational, the generational impact that this franchise has had on culture is incredible. And then it got dragged into this bullshit part of the culture war because of her and because of fucktards like you, Kyle Katarn.
Culture war started, Disney inserted their propaganda into Star Wars and then attacked fans for not liking it. But fake news.
See, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny, right? How I haven't watched this video. I don't know what Grizzy's commentary is going to be going into these things. But I paused it just as I heard what Kyle Katarn had to say. And my response to that was basically exactly what Grizzy just said. That's living in reality. That's actually seeing and hearing what's actually happened over the time and making an assessment and going, hang on a second. Yeah, it has been unfairly bought into the culture war by the fucktards of the culture war. When it didn't need to be. If it just remained being Star Wars and stayed true to what it was and stayed true to itself without having to be going through the DEI checklist multiple times over before they even decide to do anything, It's insane. And it's insane how these people's brains fucking function, how they actually come to these conclusions of delusion, absolute amazing amounts of delusion.
Karn here claims that it was actually Orange Man's fault
No.
for the culture war in Star Wars.
I think 2017 is hot off the heels of another year that was very changing the landscape politically and socially and culturally, and that's 2016 when you know, things happened.
God. Yeah, you know what Hollywood's response was to that? To go full on woke crap, hence why we got characters like Reva. Are you kidding me?
Well, hate to break it to you, Katarn, but things happened again.
But I think that has a direct correlation to the way Star Wars suddenly had to be manly men for men, and like women had to be a certain way. And if a woman is empowered on the screen, she's a Mary Sue, and like everything is now
What
pandering.
are you talking about? No, You know, when we talk about Rey being a Mary Sue, and we talk about somebody like Leia and her Leia Poppins crap and all of these things, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's a woman. Because in all honesty, if you replace either of those characters in those moments with dudes, it's the exact same criticism. And that's how you know that it's not sexist. That's how you know that we don't want women. Well, yeah, we want women characters to be a certain way. We want them to go through an arc. Amazing. We want female characters in these stories, but we want them written well, not just thrown in there and given abilities and powers. And, you know, that's what makes them the Mary Sue, not the fact that they're a woman. It's so infuriating hearing these absolute retards talk like this about Star Wars and the fan base. When again, you go back and you watch multiple series that I've gone through and reviewed and everything, and you tell me, what is my criticism about? Is it about the color of the skin of the character? Is it about the gender of the character? Or is it about the motivations of the character? Is it about what the character's actually intending or implying or doing? Is it about the destruction of the actual lore around Star Wars, or the canon around Star Wars, or the canon around a certain planet, or the structures of travel time, or the abilities to bring in new parts of lore or new parts of canon and actually have decent, actual making sense explanations to tracking fobs or whatever? That's the criticism, Kyle Katarn here. It isn't about the fucking gender, and it's not about the race. That's where your racist ass goes every fucking time, because you can't sit there and listen to these people, just like that award on Grizzy's award show where Kyle Katarn blocked Kato, I can't remember, I think that's his name, because he couldn't be seen fighting with a black man. How racist do you have to be, Kyle Katarn, to actually even say that? Let alone do it.
And woke
and calling Disney Star Wars pandering and woke triggers you. Yes, we know. But nobody is saying that you can't have women, strong women, in Star Wars. All we're saying is that the majority of Star Wars fans are men. It's a fact. And trying to change that and turn Star Wars into a girl brand is obviously going to fail.
And I want to point out that I have got plenty of friends, female friends, that are Star Wars fans. None bigger, I would say, channel-wise, than Anna, that Star Wars girl. But she's certainly not the only one that I know. And guess what? The actual female Star Wars fans out there, have the exact same problems with what they're doing with Star Wars as I do. They might pick out a few different things. I might pick out a few different things. But overall, the main issues with these shows have been pretty much uniformly the same. And it's not because we're getting in behind the scenes and we're having these chats or anything like that. It's actually quite incredible. It's kind of like with what I just said to you in regards to this video and hearing Grizzy's response to Kyle Katarn here, but I just said the exact same thing.
Pointing that out triggers the hell out of these people because they don't care about facts. All they care about is their feelings.
Now it's suddenly urgently important for everyone to talk about why it's not manly anymore. Why it's no, Star Wars is for girls now. Why, like, the Force is female? First of all, that was a Nike ad. But secondly, why did that enrage people?
Actually, that is false. But it doesn't matter. Even if it was a Nike ad. Seriously, we're putting the Force is female? Is it supposed to be an ad that's a joke? Or was it an ad that was actually being legitimately serious? But it wasn't even an ad.
Why are we so upset about things? It's fake and in space. It doesn't stop me from loving it for 30 years.
Wow. Okay, a lot to unpack here. First, did he just defend the infamous Kathleen Kennedy Force is female photo?
No, Star Wars is for girls now. Why? Like, the Force is female? First of all, that was a Nike ad.
If you remember too, at the women's conference thing, Dave Filoni gets up and, you know, how unfair, you all know it. Another woman in a Star Wars show. How unfair. A fucking fag.
That is a lie, Katarn. That photo was taken at the Archer Film Festival 2017, where Kathleen Kennedy literally said, and I quote, "These are all jobs that women can do. They just need to be given a chance. So do or do not. There is no try. The Force is female." This was not a Nike ad, Katarn, and you can see if you look closely that it does say Archer Film Festival in the background.
What an idiot.
You got to be careful coming on YouTube and lying, Katarn, because as you said...
And especially lying to the, like, you know, his fans or the people that watch him, right? Because they're not going to go out and fact check it because they think that he's telling the truth, right? So the next time somebody says, "Oh, so you think the Force should be female?" It's like it was a fucking Nike ad. That will be their defense.
Because people will always come with the receipts.
Yeah. Now, don't worry, you guys. I did not forget about the other thing he said.
Why did that enrage people? Why are we so upset about things? It's fake and in space. It doesn't stop me from loving it for 30 years.
Star Wars is fake and in space. It's the same argument as it's space wizards and laser swords, right? That we hear from these people all the time. The reason real fans get upset, Katarn, is because we love these movies. We love this universe. We love these characters.
And we love the lore, and we love to dive into that kind of shit.
And for someone else to come in here and shit all over it just because we need to push our characters, our brand, our shitty streaming service, our political agendas, that pisses people off. And you can use this very same argument against them. If Star Wars is just...
It's fake and in space.
Then why do you get so triggered when people criticize it that you falsely label people racist in order to try and cancel them and get their YouTube channels?
And that's where the hypocrisy really, really shows through. When they start saying shit like that. Like, why do you care? It's fake and it's in space.
Demonetized.
What a bitch.
People need to be more like you, right? Positive and not a gwifta.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a Star Wars YouTuber. Oh, do you rail about Kathleen Kennedy with tinfoil on your head? It's like, no, not that kind. I'm not a grifter, all right?
You're a bitch.
When people talk about why things are objectively bad, it's like, well, it's not what you wanted. And that's valid and that's fair. Doesn't make it objectively bad.
Okay, so for example, Luke throwing his father's lightsaber away is not objectively bad.
In theater, I loved it.
It's just not what the toxic fans wanted. Okay, got it. All right, anything else, Katarn, before we get on out of here?
I don't know. People balk at the expression, but I think this is the best time to be a Star Wars fan.
Oh my God.
No, Katarn, this is the best time ever to rip on Disney Star Wars.
And I agree with that statement. Oh, I went straight into the next video or something. But that's why I feel like it's a really good time for the Gatekeepers Alliance to come out of the closet. There you go, Grizzy. Great job, man. As usual, fantastic job. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. You know what the fuck to do. And how's the poll going? We'll do a quick check and refresh on the poll. We got 15 votes in. We've still got nearly 40 people watching. We can get some more votes. Let me go through them again, and then we'll watch Justin's video. All right. So if you weren't here for the actual announcement of the nominees, here they are for you. Star Wars Theory, basically saying this.
Who cares? Even if Revan does become a girl, it'll still be dope.
Even if Revan does become a girl, it'll still be dope. Then we had Jacob saying that this most recent episode of Skeleton Crew is the best episode from any Star Wars series, in my opinion. And then we had Darth Thunder saying he loved what Lucasfilm have done with Darth Vader since Disney took it over. And we had Sawyerism, which again, we sort of agreed with half of it, but then right at the end, it's kind of like, well, even if they do bring in EU characters and adapt them and probably adapt them wrong, they're different interpretation. I look forward to it. So there are your 4 nominees. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Check those out. We are going to get Grizzy's YouTube here. And we've got Star Wars Marvel Purist. If you're not subscribed to Justin, there's the Gatekeepers Alliance. There's Grizzy's link. And I'm sure one of my great mods is going to drop Justin's link in the chat. Now, to be honest with you, I'm really, really happy and really, really, for want of a better word, proud to see what's happened with Star Wars Marvel Purist channel. He's become monetized. He's hit that 1,000K, which is fantastic. We all, when you're going through the YouTube stuff and you're trying to grow your channel and everything, I don't claim to be any sort of expert. I promise you that. But, from my own experience in doing this, 100's that first goal, and it can be really tough to get to that first 100. And then you kind of you sort of do that 100 increments until you really get to that 500 mark. And then once you hit the 500 mark, it's like onwards to that 1,000. Let's get there. And it's always a grind and everything to get there, unless you can sort of get a video to really take off and sort of go viral a little bit, which can help. But yeah, really, really good. Obviously, I think I've been around, subscribed and watching Justin now for pretty much the whole time of his channel. We were giving him shout outs on this stream. But I think it was before he even hit 100 subscribers. And it's really awesome. I love listening to his streams. He goes through the books and the comics, and then he'll have sort of these roundtable discussions with everyone. We did the Plagueis book. Took us 3 streams of 3-hour length streams to get through the entirety of that. But yes, Justin's doing some great stuff, and if you're not subscribed, please go and subscribe. Let's watch his video on Star Wars Theory Exposed. Star Wars Normie Episode 1. Yu Zon Vong. Yu Zon Vong. Here we go. I also want to point out that I think this is his shill expose video for the competition that Melvin's been doing. And I must admit, I haven't seen any of the other, obviously, entries yet. I don't know if Melvin's done. I don't think he's done it yet. But this video is really, really good. We might actually speed this up as well because it is 16 minutes long. Here we go.
Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through victory, my chains are broken.
Sorry, I don't think I can sit here for 16 minutes with these headphones on. My head's getting too hot, so I'm hoping that the audio will still sound all right. Let me know, guys, because obviously not wearing my headphones. I'm hoping that you don't get any echo, but let me know how it sounds. Use on wrong law. So if you don't know, when he's referencing Star Wars Norm, he's obviously referencing Star Wars Theory. Obvious. Hey, if you guys send me the link, I might be able to just jump in, like while I'm at work for a couple of minutes, say hello, say congratulations, whatever else. But yeah, can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Now, look, in regards to that statement in there, there isn't a Disney Star Wars book, game, movie, or show he hasn't paid for. There's been a couple of things that I've paid for. I haven't bought everything. I certainly haven't bought any books. I think the last Disney Star Wars book that I did buy was the Ahsoka audiobook, in which they ended up retconning. But like, I bought two of the games. So I understand. And he has definitely bought absolutely everything, but I've bought some stuff. I'm not acquitted from spending some money. Not a lot. Nowhere near as much as I would have if I watched Star Wars reactions. It does make me wonder whether or not these are fake reactions or not too. Like, I'd like to think that there was some genuineness to them.
Carbon fiber, 28 caliber, made in China. If you want to kill a public servant, Mr. Maroney, I recommend you buy American.
American.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
Hey everyone, today's video is going to be about the Yuuzhan Vong, the children of Yun Yuuzhan, the chosen race.
So before we, obviously this, it's written on the screen, but this lore video was done on the 6th of November, 2019, and he's never read the book.
Of Yun Yuuzhan, the chosen race. I just finished my first NJO novel.
What'd you think? Which one?
I already forgot the name. Or simply the Yuuzhan Vong. They were the extragalactic species that succeeded in destroying the New Republic during their invasion of the galaxy.
Now, this is the thing. I will say, like, when I've done my scripted videos or anything, I have never once, like, gone to like a Wikipedia, let's say, and taken like a whole, let's say, paragraph or a whole bit or something from it. Like, now, don't get me wrong, I have gone to, the internet to search for certain elements. Like, for example, if I was doing a video on the lore around Kiadi Mundi and the age of their species and stuff like that, I would probably go in and, make sure that the facts that I'm putting out there are correct, just to double check or make sure or whatever. But, if let's say I was to do a video revolving around the Palpatine book, the Plagueis book, most of it would just come off the top of my head because I've read the book so many times that I could structure out a cohesive lore video, cohesive structured video based on my own knowledge of reading the book. Whereas if you haven't read this, like the stuff that he's talking about in this lore video, I don't know. There's stuff in there that I don't know because I haven't read the books. But then where does he get that knowledge from? It's literally like reading a Wikipedia page and putting that out as a lore video. And just put your deflections in there.
Galaxy.
Appropriate for those books.
Yeah, literally. It's the one where we're introduced to the Yuzon Vong. That resulted in the deaths of nearly 300.
And how's that? He just finished reading the book and he doesn't even know the name of it.
65 trillion beings before the war was over. The first, oh God. What's the name of the freaking... What's the name of the first one? God damn it. One of only a handful of races to have arisen from outside of the galaxy. The Vong were devoted to a culture of pain.
Trying to find it.
Vector Prime.
Vector Prime.
Oh, chat had it.
But the problem was I listened to the abridged audiobook.
The thing is the abridged audiobook is like 3 hours out of like 12 hours or something like that worth of content, maybe even more. And this is why I must admit, this is another reason why I'm glad that I've found somebody like Star Wars Marvel Purist, because he recommends videos out there, like channels out there that have got, they might not be the best version. They might not have the production value of, let's say, the abridged books or any of the actual stuff that you get on Amazon or Audible or any of those things, right? But, at least you're getting the full book. So he's done a lore video, 5 years prior to him ever reading the book. And he's just recently read the book. He can't even remember the title of the book. And he didn't sit down and read the book. I don't sit down and read the books either. But he listened to an abridged version, which is 3 hours out of 12 hours of content, basically.
You serious? And conquest. And for such a hyper-aggressive breed, they possessed a surprisingly high advanced and unique technology that was entirely bioengineered.
Bums me out a lot.
See, like that information, the fact that their technology is completely bioengineered, I would never have known that. I would never be able to make a Yuzon Vong lore video just based off my own knowledge and understanding of the Yuzon Vong. Why? Because I've never read it. But how does he come up with a video like this, and how does he produce and make a video like this and call himself a lore expert? Or a George Lucas, he's allied with the George Lucas side of Star Wars. When he does sit there and, again, another thing too with Star Wars theory is out of all the, I hate the dash has gone back. Anyway, out of all the Star Wars stuff that's come out, 70% he's liked. 70%. He's given at least above a 7 out of 10 in his form of rankings.
Yeah, well, that's why that's why they call me the George Lucas Purist, baby. And purely organic. In fact,
George Lucas Purist, because he listened to the 3-hour abridged version of Vector Prime.
In fact, they hated machines and anything mechanical, viewing such devices as blasphemy. But it's like, why do the abridged? I guess these books are not popular enough. Not many people know about them. The Yuzon Vong, even though they came from an entirely different galaxy, were humanoid in form, but taller and heavier than your typical...
I think a lot of people were like me. They knew about them and they would want to see these stories and they'd want to see them on the big screen. They want to see it. as opposed to actually having to sit down and read it. You need time to be able to sit down and read, where you don't, to watch a movie, you only need 3 hours. You don't need 12 hours. And you don't, like, listening to a book, you might listen to the first couple of chapters and then you need to go and do some shit. And you might not get back around to it until the next day or maybe even the day after, right? And then, it's kind of like you sort of got to catch up and like, oh, that's right. That's where I'm up to and this is what's actually happened. There's a difference there,
Human. Ryan told me about these. Like, I had seen these when I was a teenager, but I'm not going to say I read them. With less hair on their head.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I would never do a Use on Vong Law video, because I've never read them. I knew about them, just like you just stated that you knew about them.
However, due to their religious beliefs that tended to glorify pain as a state of living. But I mean, I had a few of them and I would like read through it a little bit and then just put it down. They would remake their own bodies by sacrificing body parts for their gods.
Star Wars is just vast. That's the thing.
Care about the first 6 films. I don't know. That was always like my bread and butter. With some in elite casts.
And it's always been his bread and butter, even though he's done law videos in the past. J-Lord for $10. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Says, Rhino, Disney has started pulling a woke content out in recent months. Pulling the woke content out in recent months. There were 2 LGBT storylines that were fully taken out from 2 projects. Some studios are bending the knee to Trump. Well, yeah, some are, but I honestly, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Andor season 2, especially after like the reactions to the people that did see Andor season 1. I haven't seen a recent pullback from them on woke content. Like I haven't been able to notice that. And I'm watching everything. I'm paying attention to everything. The 2 LGBTQ storylines, which 2 projects are you talking about, J-Lord, that they remove those from? And this is the thing, like Disney Lucasfilm wouldn't come out and say that they've removed 2 LGBTQ storylines from 2 projects. So where did you also get that information from? I'm curious. Now, yes, we have seen a shift in culture since Trump's re-election. I'm not going to deny that. There's definitely been a shift in the air. But also, too, like with how long it takes to produce movies, shows, and things like that, it's going to take a little bit to catch up before the, let's say, quote-unquote Trump effect takes full effect. You know what I mean? They've already produced stuff. They've already done scripts. They've already done certain things. Now, yeah, they can go back and change scripts and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm just curious, J-Lord, what are the 2 LGBTQ storylines? And I'm curious where you heard it. If you can elaborate on that. You don't need to send another super chat. I appreciate the $10 so much. Okay. Inside Out 2 and a show called Win or Lose. Cast and crew leaked it. Okay. I'm not going to deny that there's a shift, and maybe at Disney, but I'm yet to see something at Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm seems to be almost this complete separate entity. That we've heard the shift in regards to what they're doing with Marvel. We're going to take a step back on the checklist. We're going to take a step back on the wokeness. But we've also heard that from Bob Iger in regards to Star Wars a couple of years ago, and that never really came to fruition. Now, yes, they may have removed those from that, but their lack of attachment to Lucasfilm makes me think like I'm yet to see it. And it's that whole thing with the same thing with all the announcements of all the shows and movies and games and this and that they come out with at Lucasfilm. I'll believe it when I see it. It's J-Lord, I'm not saying that you're wrong in saying that they are shifting. Maybe they are. But I will believe it when I see it. As opposed to, putting hope in the fact that they actually are doing it without any context. seeing them do it. Yeah, that's right. Not everyone are readers. That's okay, but just admit it. It's like, man, I don't care. I'm not much of a reader, and I think from you guys, and you see my dyslexia come out when I'm fucking reading super chats and stuff like that, and it is kind of painful and it's a little embarrassing, to be honest with you. But you know, I'm not going to sit there and say I have the ability to sit down and fucking read a 500-page novel or whatever. I would sit down and much rather listen to an audiobook. And the other thing too that I do like about the audiobooks is the fact that there is a bit of production value to them. So it's almost like there have been times where I've just been listening to one of my audiobooks or something, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just sitting there with my eyes closed, just listening to it and just letting my imagination take over with some of the sound effects and the production that they put into it. It can be enjoyable to do that. But yes, thank you, J Lloyd, for the super chat. I appreciate it big time.
Even grafting other creatures' organs onto their own bodies. And then anything that like was a book close to that, like let's say Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, really enjoyed that. Plagueis, you know, anything that surrounds the main characters. So what a typical...
That's true too. J Lord for another $5. He says, I think there is a shift, but not woke doesn't automatically mean good. I 100% agree. 100% agree. And that's sort of a bit of a problem out there right now, I will say, because, you know, because woke has become such a massive thing in Hollywood and in these studios, and the, you know, the DEI and the diversity and everything that they need to put in, it's good in the fact that that there might be a shift, but it doesn't mean that the shows that they are actually doing, just because there's no wokeness in it, are actually good. You know, you remove, let's say, any of the woke elements that you could say are woke elements from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, right? So basically, if you removed Reva from that show, is it a good show? Fucking horrible, man. You know what I mean? So, no, 100% agree, J-Lord. Appreciate the super chat again.
Yuuzhan Vong looks like is hard to know.
Old school Legends fans like myself,
people just don't care anymore about lore, about, you know, the real Star Wars, the extended universe. And
that's another thing that really like shows you. I'm sorry, it's a statement that is, it's kind of like asking the question, like, what does Vader say when he reveals that he's his father? What is the exact quote? You know, and those people out there that do say, Luke, I am your father, you're incorrect. It's no, I am your father. And it's kind of a similar thing in regards to, it's like a little test thing, you know. But, yeah, like to say the extended universe, there's another person on, I think it was on Grizzy's Awards that said extended universe.
But on average, they had sloping ridge-like foreheads, short stub-like noses that gave them this skull-like appearance.
No, yeah.
And when you hear that, right, it does sound like he's literally just reading it off Wikipedia. You know, it would be actually interesting to go back, and I might actually do this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that exact video, that exact lore video, and then I'm just going to type in Yuuzhan Vong into Wikipedia. Wikipedia might be there. And just see if I can find the exact quote. Wouldn't that be interesting? To see if you could find the exact quote on Wikipedia that he's saying right now. That'd be really, that'd expose him big time.
I bought all of them like freaking 8 months ago. Their scripts have been pretty much more or less how I would write while I record stuff. I like switch it up here and there.
Ritual tattoos covering their bodies and skin tones that varied from gray, yellow, and jet black blood.
Haven't had time to actually read them.
Yeah, it's a substantial series. I mean, 19 books.
Though they purposely maimed themselves, they were careful to never let their alterations hinder their ability to function.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's lore-centric video. It's always a pleasure to get back into lore content, and I'll get to work on getting you some more lore content soon. Until then, may the Force be with you, always.
Oh, the small abridged version of one book is 3 hours. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
In fact, usually the grafting of other body parts would enhance their skills.
Yeah, no, I mean, it flew by, but I mean,
That's a lot to absorb. That's a lot of just story to absorb.
Their culture was once centered on
the problem with
sacrifice
the
to their
abridged versions is it cuts out so much of the story. You can't even follow it. I've got the abridged version of Vector Prime. And mate, when it goes from essentially one cut to the next cut, it's like, fuck, how long's gone by? What's happened? Where the fuck are we? All of a sudden, Leia and Han are over here, and then all of a sudden, Leia and Han are now here, and it's like, how'd they get there? What the fuck just happened? You can't unpack anything out of an abridged version of the book. I don't even know why the abridged version exists, because it's so jarringly like you're so far out of the realms of following the story. No.
their gods, who they believed had offered their own body parts in order to create the galaxy.
That's true. The Book of Boba Fett wasn't that woke. And it was not good.
Wow.
Do you know who read it? Was it Mark Thompson?
I can't remember.
Therefore, by remaking their own bodies, the Vong were mimicking their deity's sacrifice, thus bringing them closer to their gods.
I imagine George wouldn't comment on the EU books because that's not what he, made.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about them.
The original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novel.
So, because of this religious perspective, the Yuzon Vong saw life as suffering and death as the ultimate release from that suffering.
Those aren't the first 6 films in the Clone Wars that's Star Wars. Everything outside of that is fun.
Except for 70% of what fucking Disney's made, you still think is good Star Wars.
The original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novels.
There was none of this kind of canon wars stuff that came about later on.
Right.
It was all canon. Everything published was canon.
This is why the Vong felt nothing could be learned or understood, unless it was earned through pain.
So probably need to give it a second listen through, but the abridged version, I referred to the book and I'm like,
the greatest glory one could achieve was death in
You were
battle.
like, what?
For a species so devoted to death and suffering, the Vong actually believed deeply in life.
There's so much they're cutting out here.
Oh, really?
So it's like, how much am I really getting?
Yeah, no shit.
You see,
and
death
this is
for
your
them
first time reading the book, huh?
was a prevalent, constant presence in life.
I just looked it up. There's 19 New Jedi Order books.
Yeah, I have them all.
You just looked it up. Yeah, and he goes, yeah, I've got them all. You've never read them all.
The death of one creature allowed the creature that killed it to live, and the body would return to the earth, creating new life.
I have them all. Haven't read them yet. Have you read them?
Not all of them, no.
Therefore, life allowed the suffering to continue, for there could be no death without life.
Yeah.
Trying to
No,
find
it's
the
cool.
Abeloth ones.
It kind of feels like...
You know how the Disney shields always say to us, you can't criticize this because you haven't finished watching it. It's not all complete or anything like that. How can they criticize the EU when, even though it's all out there, everything from the EU, now you could argue that there's storylines that aren't complete, but you haven't read any of that. So how can you criticize the expanded universe for anything? There's people out there that say the expanded universe wasn't good. It's like, what have you read? And they're like, none. Maybe one book.
Like this is literally where they should have started the sequel trilogy.
Aside from devotion to their gods,
really?
the Yuzon Vong society was also structured around a caste-based
It's
system.
not like people haven't been saying that
20 years
in
after
fucking
Return of the
years.
Jedi. It's all about Han and Leia's kids.
Divided between the warrior, shaper, priest,
Isn't
and
it funny
attendant.
how, after his first time reading it, and it is only the abridged version, what he's got to say, there is so much dead air in that stream, it is ridiculous. For a person who that is a massive Star Wars fan that has read this book for the first time, that is ridiculous. And how can he say so much in a lore video 5 years prior, right, about just the Yuzon Vong? And then when it comes to talking about the book on stream, when we have guests on here, or when I'm on Justin's stream, Star Wars Marvel Purist, or when I'm speaking with somebody, Grizzy, or whoever, right? And we're having a discussion, even Anna, that Star Wars girl, and we're talking about an actual Star Wars book and how much we get into different characters and how much we talk about, how incredible this was, or what happened here, or this and that. We can get into a deep conversation about it. This is the first time he's read the book and he can't even fucking say anything other than what?
The Yuzon Vong society was also structured around a caste-based system.
22
years after Return of the Jedi. It's all about Han and Leia's kids. Divided.
That's the back of the book, man. You just gave us a description of what the fucking, and there's more on the back of the book. It's about Han and Leia's kids, and it's 25 years in the future. Spoilers, you know Chewbacca dies in that book? And the way he dies, and then what happens between Han and I was about to say Luke, between Han and Anakin, Solo. And the rift that puts between them. How about, I think this is in Vector Prime, how about the fact that the trio, the twins, the Solo twins and Anakin, when they're fighting in X-Wings and stuff like that, and their force ability that they have, I can't even remember the name of it, and I'm not even going to pretend that I can remember. But what they do is like incredible. What their ability to use the Force in separate ships and have these connections between them and have these abilities to fight and like almost go out of fucking phase, like completely like lost. No, that was Luke, wasn't it? Now I'm mixing up I haven't read these books properly. But I'm not going to pretend to know the answers. But even me, who has only read basically synopsis and gone through some stuff with this storyline and these books and everything, can still give you more of a hype and more of a description of what actually goes on in this book than what he just said. Just giving you a quick 2 lines from the back of the book.
Between the warrior, shaper, priest, intendant, and worker castes. Luke and Mara Jade are married. Mara's suffering from like a disease. She's like sick, but the Yuzon Vong are doing this to her. Though family played a very important part in their culture, with each family group known as a domain. The first book is essentially, the abridged version of it is essentially just kind of like an introduction to who the Yuzon Vong are and how they have their like own army and how the Force doesn't work on them. Most Yuzon Vong children did not know their biological parents until they left the caste that they were raised in. And they're like all very surprised. Like Mara Jade was fighting one of them and she's like, okay, this doesn't make sense because the Force literally doesn't work on this guy. Because of the importance they placed on these specific caste roles, it was strictly forbidden for members of different castes to breed or even have romantic relationships.
Yeah, the Vong are interesting. I'm waiting for Disney to introduce them and ruin them.
The hierarchical order of their...
Isn't it funny how they say, I'm waiting for Disney to introduce them and ruin them, but yet you'll sit there and you'll praise fucking nearly everything that Disney's done. I'd be interesting to hear Stupendous Wave's opinion on Plagueis in The Acolyte.
Caste system went from the supreme overlord at the top way down to the lowly worker caste at the bottom. Well, it's good to actually read the original lore from them. Well, I guess listen to it. Well, it's good to actually read the original lore from them. Well, I guess listen to it. I just finished my first NJO novel. The Supreme Overlord was believed to have direct communication with the Yun-Yuzon, the supreme god and creator of the Yuzon Vong. I just finished my first NJO novel. Therefore, the Overlord was the voice of their greatest god, and so, in command of all their various castes. Yeah, so the first one's done. Has anyone here listened to the abridged version and read the full book? Can you tell me the differences between the abridged and the book? As for lore content, found a couple writers. So you guys are getting lore content, found really, really good, passionate Star Wars lore freaking masters, essentially. Been kind of screening them all week and making sure that they are exactly what I want on the channel. Their scripts have been pretty much more or less how I would.
I will say, after Justin exposed basically this, it's not to say that Star Wars Theory didn't expose himself, but, you know, since it's been called out, he hasn't done a video for a while.
Right. While I record stuff, I like switch it up here and there. But this allows me to get back to the content that I was doing that there's like over 3,000 videos of on the channel. You guys will be getting a lot of like the reaction stuff that I've been doing lately and like commentary. plus 1 to 2 lore videos every single day to round out, the content here.
Also, would you ever consider hiring ghostwriters to make Star Wars lore videos? In terms of ghostwriters to make Star Wars lore videos, absolutely not. I don't even know what that's talking about. But no, if I was
obviously Ryan doesn't know the narrative behind Star Wars Theory getting ghostwriters to come in and write lore videos for him. But you know what? I actually think that that's a good thing, because Ryan just comes straight out and just sort of laughs at it and goes, no, there's no way I'd ever hire ghostwriters to write lore videos for me. But he doesn't know what it's actually about. It's so funny that I find that Ryan, especially in more recent times, has exposed Star Wars Theory for his hypocrisy, for his stupidity, for his lack of actual Star Wars knowledge and understanding. That it's funny to see this when he knows that there's no actually direct, link to Star Wars Theory, but in the same token, he's shitting all over Star Wars Theory by laughing and saying that.
I mean, just like I did for Star Wars lore videos back in the day, I can't even stand it when you see like lore videos that clearly are from people that like didn't even like read whatever it was, and it's just kind of a Wikipedia article.
And it's so funny that he said that too, because that's exactly what Star Wars Marvel purist Justin is exposing in this video. It's hilarious.
Like you can tell for some of those when you do watch them, and I mean that's been the case for years and years on YouTube. But no, to answer your question, no, I would not hire a ghostwriter to make a Star Wars lore video.
I just finished my first NJO novel. It's the one where we're introduced to the Yuzon Vong. The first, oh God, what's the name of the freaking... The problem was I listened to the abridged audiobook.
Hey everyone, today's video is going to be about the Yuzon Vong, the children of Yun Yuzon, the chosen race.
Stuart Beattie gets it, and he understands these characters. These people didn't even understand Star Wars, nor did they understand Stuart Beattie's script. I've explained this already. I don't have time.
And you know what's really funny is that's Darth Pause. Theory, why did you hire ghostwriters for your lore videos? Siri activated. Fuck you, Siri. Sounds like you don't want to learn the lore or read NJO, I think he said. Don't know why. Pause. Pulling it out.
Time.
Oh, there you go. I thought, considering like there's no real commentary from you, Justin, over the top of any of that, I thought it was a good video. It exposed him. If you're not subscribed to Justin, Star Wars Marvel Purist, he's got some great streams. Great streams, great. He clips basically videos out of his streams more so, but the work's good and yeah, enjoyable. Was just checking out Theory's new panel. Dash. Man, I streamed with Dash a few years ago on the full Aussie, because he's an Aussie, on the full Aussie stream, and yeah, he's there's a video. Actually, we might watch his video next week. There's a video that he put out recently. All right, let's wrap up. Let's finish off the poll for Seal of the Week, and then we'll wrap it up. Here we go. All right, so let me end the poll. How many votes did we end up on? We got 26. That's pretty good. 26. All right, let me end this here. Come on, show me the results. There they are. All right, so in last place with 18% of the vote was Sawyerism, number 4. There you go. In third place with 22% of the vote was Jacob, number 2. Number 2. In second place, the runner-up for this week with 29% of the vote was Darth Thunder. And the winner, actually it's a tie because they both get 29%. So there's 2 winners this week. The first one is Star Wars Theory with 29% of the vote, and Darth Thunder ties with him with 29% of the vote. Congratulations, guys. You win the trophy for this week's Seal of the Week. Fucking fags.
I'm all the Jedi.
And that's the game. That's it. We're all done. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. It's been a great stream. Go over to the Jack Show. I believe the Jack Show is going there. Oh, Soul Assassin's already on it. The Jack Show is currently live, so you can go over and say hello, give them a little raid for us. But yes, again, thank you, everyone, for being here. Subscribe to everyone's videos that we watched. I would greatly appreciate them. Go and give them some watch time and check out their stuff. They're all great content creators. So please do that. Thanks to all the members, everyone that sent super chats today. I really appreciate you guys. We had Gabriel Knight gave a couple of memberships, 5 memberships. Really, really appreciated that. We had Melissa Lord with a super chat. We had Albatross with a super chat, and we had J Lord with a couple. Appreciate you guys. And we will see you next week for 199, episode 199. There you go. All right, guys, take care. We will see you all later. What are we going to... We'll go with this one. We haven't played it in a little while.
You'd better put a chick in it. Fucking gay as fuck.
What?
That is so lame.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin Crop's kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'll be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very caution.
You... Go away!
We bounced too near a supermarket?